The following video clip contains strong language and has therefore been rated 18 plus by the YouTube NECCA. Viewer discretion is advised. YouTube, NECCA, and the makers of this video do not condone the usage of foul language in any situation or circumstance. The explicit content shown within this clip may also be disturbing viewing for mature adults. All people in and involved with this video are innocent until proven guilty.
Alright, what's goody people, and we back here on The Fix for New York. I am one half of the co-hosts, your boy Cash First. My other co-host Z Dot will not be here with us this evening, but he is here with us in spirit. God bless my brother. Now, people, who we do have here with us this evening is somebody that I really admire, because I get a lot of criticism on social media from women. Oh, you're always posting, the mischief of women. Not all women are like that. And I never said all women are like that. But we do post evidence which validates that a huge portion, leaning towards the majority, can be like that. So, for those who do know and see my stuff, remember, again, it's not all women, just a huge chunk of them. And what I'm trying to do, along with many others via the social media and mass access around the planet, is gather up good women to help spread a more positive, innovative, inspiring message to women across the world. So with me this evening, I do have, like I said again, a woman that she inspired me with her story. She validates that not all women are the same, and sets a wonderful example that if women try, they could get very far in life. So I just want to give her, the amazing intro that she deserves. Female libertarian, Trishanda.
Hey, what's good?
What up, Trish? And thank you for taking the time this evening, because I know you're actually a busy woman conducting actual labor out here, not just trying to look pretty all the time. And it's dope because women like you, they give faith to guys like myself who are always trying to look for the best out of tomorrow and never give up on the possibility that there could be something out there in the future. Right now, I'm not looking hard body, but I always try to remain optimistic about it. So when I come across women like you who have their head on right, who lead with rational, logical thought first, emotion second, I'm just like, wow, there is hope. It's like the story, what is it, of the Jews with a little bit of oil that kept the fire burning, the lantern burning for about, what was it, 7 days or 9 days?
Do not know that story.
But people know what we're talking about overall, So yeah, like, I just want to give you your props, because it's truly amazing. Like, what I've seen you do. We've known each other for about 2 years and a half, going on 3 years already. We met during the Larry Sharp campaign, and when I started posting things after the campaign was over about, the mischief of women again, you were one of the few females to not come for my neck, because I'm very no holds barred. I'm very red pill. I'm very about blatant facts. I never grew up believing in Santa Claus, the tooth fairy, that storks deliver babies. I never believed in none of that. I never liked watching fairy tale shows or things like that. I would argue with my parents a lot, because I would want them to talk more about productivity and ways to generate income. And they had a fear that I would grow up to be this crazy drug dealer due to my ambition. So, like, again, with you, it's just like, wow, everything that I talk about that could be positive within a woman, that would be great if more women had, you do have. So,
Thank you. I mean, that humbles me. Honestly, I just I try to capitalize on every day that I get on this earth, like to influence people. I love how you started out. Like, it is very important to me to make a positive impression and to be an influence, on females, males. Like, it really doesn't matter too much to me who I have the opportunity to influence, especially about the values and just the things that I really hold precious.
Thank you, thank you. And like, we don't see too much of the action being taken when it comes to girls. We'll hear a lot of the rhetoric. For those who don't know what rhetoric means, it's just like the talking point behind certain things. But I could say I'm gonna make a lasagna for a month. Until I make that lasagna, all I'm doing is talking. And you're the type of woman.
Be careful how you go here, because I've been talking about writing a book for some number of years, and it is a very sore spot between me and those that love me dearly, because they're like, "Why is your book not published yet?"
Hey, in your defense, this podcast took me about 1.5 years to get up and running. Larry Sharp, shout out Larry Sharp, by the way. He was hounding me, get it started. And it's better that when we deliver with substance, with quality.
I don't want to do it halfway.
Exactly.
If I'm not ready yet and I go and do it and it's not the right time and I can't put all my energy into it, I'm going to produce something that's subpar, and that is unacceptable for me.
Logic again, and thank you for that. Thank you for that very much, because when people run on emotions, I've never seen a good outcome. When people run on logic, I've seen nothing but success. And I'm in a company right now that I'm currently employed at. God bless the company. The company's name will not be announced, but those who do know. I deal with people back to back. It's very consistent within minutes. And again, if we don't have something of quality, of substance to deliver to the people are not going to come. If you go out and put a horrible book or a mediocre, half-assed book, people aren't going to be as motivated to come back. It's like, again, you make a lasagna that's pretty mediocre or not as good, more than likely 7 to 8 times out of 10 people won't come back for it. There was a video game, I forgot the name, but just to get the point across, this video game right now is on its fourth or fifth chapter of it, but the first 2 sucked. That they really had to push hard on promotion to get part 3, part 4, and part 5. Get the snowball effect, the ball rolling, so that people could be enthusiastic about getting that video game. And it's a major success now, but they had a horrible beginning. And just like in any sport, the scouts are always looking for the standouts. They're not looking for anybody that they got to build up. And so that's what I guess, what you're trying to do with the book, which I highly advocate for. That's what I've done here with the podcast. There's still many things I have to learn about the podcast world, the audio engineering and the post-production, the visual side of things. But we're getting there. And if you look right now in comparison to the first episode outside of the professional studio, where it was Larry and I and a few others, people will see that it's very grassroots, very organic, self-funded. For those who want to donate, patreon.com, I've got it set up, $3 a month. $3 will go a long way. And if you ever want to deactivate, hey, $3 you're gonna save, and it's not much of a damage either. If I offend you or anything, you could take your $3 back. For those who want to make bigger donations, the Cash App is right there as well. You want to donate 10, 15, 20, 25, $100, feel free to do so. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not a wild, raging partyist. So the finances, the donations part of me will be put to good use for better content for the years to come. So yeah, Trish, we're living in a time now that everything has become political. We're seeing it in Netflix. Everything is being set up with some type of political message being put out. I haven't watched The Mandalorian, but a lot of libertarians seem to like The Mandalorian because the message behind it is libertarianism. And within sports, we're seeing some type of political side being taken within the music industry as well, finally, because for a long time, even though I grew up being able to rap and all that, I saw that my favorite artists were not advocating for our constitutional rights. In the meanwhile, they were constantly exercising their First Amendment and their love for the Second Amendment. They're always talking about guns. And it's just like, well, if you guys advocate for this right here, along with all the other amendments, nobody's getting arrested. So right now, the planet has become political. We're wearing masks everywhere we gotta go. There's no way that people could escape politics, because politics create the legislations by which you and I gotta abide by, and everyone else on this planet, to live our everyday lives. So, you being a female, and you'll hear this, a lot of women, oh, I stay out of politics and all that. What encouraged you to get inside of the world of politics pre, this corona stuff? Because now everybody and their great grandmother is political.
That's a really good question. I kind of fell into it because back in 2016, during that presidential election, I found myself very, turned off by both sides of the fence, if you will. Like, I was definitely not feeling very Republican. I was not feeling very Democratic. There were issues. Like, I'm very issue-centric when it comes to politics. Like, there were issues that I could side with one side on this and one side with that. But at the end of the day, I think, for me, what it boils down to is the fact that we allow these people who are so far removed from our communities and from our families to dictate everything we do, in our day-to-day lives. Mm-hmm. And when I really started to digest that and realize, what that means, I couldn't really turn my back on it, but I knew I sure as heck wasn't about to come in and bat for, the major league teams. I just couldn't, in good mm-hmm. conscience. When I really started to look further into it, about the roots of some of my major peeves, like how campaign financing is handled, for example, or how choices are made about who makes it on the debate stage, and why our options are so filtered. I just couldn't understand that. And that's when I realized maybe not 100% libertarian, because, and especially not if we're going to the anarchist side, because I really feel like there's some leadership necessary, but I guess maybe I classify more into the minarchy realm, where it's as little government as possible. And I believe in the upside down government. So at a local level, the greatest power, right?
Uh-huh.
And up to the federal level, just getting less and less power. And let's face it, especially with what's coming, and this coming presidential term too, we're not going to see as much of that, unfortunately. And ultimately, that's why I ran for office and got elected too while I was working on Larry's campaign. So in case you didn't know it, I am an elected councilwoman in my village.
I did not know that.
No, but in all fairness, I mean, it wasn't a full roster, but I did get votes, so hey.
No, but that's amazing, because so many people outside of the Libertarian Party love to criticize us, and they seem to forget we're the baby party. This party is only about 60 years old, give or take, in comparison to 200-year-old parties, in comparison to parties that are loaded with big company donors, a bunch of lobbyist groups, and
at the end of the day, the real solution in this situation, and this is something I advocated for from day one when I got, even involved with Larry's campaign. I will support the LP pretty wholeheartedly, but at the end of the day, man, I'm a hashtag vote people, not party kind of person.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
And that's again issue centric, and what values does that person represent? And really, here lately, on any party level, independent, it doesn't matter. I feel like there's just nobody out there really representing, what I believe in. It's hard.
Yeah, again, how you said, you're issue centric, as am I. And I've said this before, and I've had libertarians that they'll hear me say these things, and then what happens? They get all scared when I say, if there is a pro Second Amendment, pro and the war on drugs, Democrats or Republican, and the Libertarian is not on board, I'll gladly vote outside of my party lines.
Right, for sure.
Because again, issue centric, and also you can't just blindly support a party because you don't know if there is corruption behind it. Now the reason
who are they gonna put in front of you? Like if you blindly just say I'm always on this team, and then the next election they're putting somebody in there that is just absolutely on the complete opposite end of the spectrum of what you believe in, but well, I wear the red shirt, so I better vote red.
Yeah.
Like, it's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard. Like it really. It makes no sense. And these same people that like follow those principles, it's like it's not a football team. This is like somebody that creates policies that literally dictate every realm of your life. But yet, just because I already have that shirt on and I'm lazy, I'm just gonna keep wearing that shirt.
Thank you so much. That's what I tell people all the time, because this is an issue that I faced with our Republican cousins, I'll say, because I do see a lot of good in them. They can be a bit easier in contrast to the Democrats, even though I was a former registered Democrat until I reflected, because I voted for Obama the first time around, being in an urban United States, biggest city in the world, New York City. So Obama
Me too. Me too. I voted for Obama first time.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to.
You know what? At that time, I was honestly like, if you would have asked me, I would have told you I was a Republican. When I voted for him, like no joke. And I look back on that now, like I don't even know where my head was then.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when people aren't informed, they'll just go with whatever sounds better to them. So yeah,
And there's the emotion thing that you're talking about, because what you're listening to drives an emotional reaction, and if your brain isn't informed, then you're not going to be able to override that.
Thank you. Yes. Because how I was saying, I saw Obama as somebody I could relate to. For those who don't know, I'm of Caribbean descent, first generation, born here in the United States. I have 0 United States blood, colonial blood, whatever you want to call it, Anglo, Caucasian, whatever. My parents are straight from the Caribbean islands, So my blood is pretty authentic. They just happen to be here in New York City, and boom, there I came about. So I felt that Obama was somebody I could relate to, because he had a similar background to me. He smoked marijuana. For that time period, you could look it up. The NRA and the Supreme Court found him to be pro Second Amendment. So I said, holy shit, this is my guy right here. Marijuana, police reform, Second Amendment, vote for him. And then the second time around, when I saw that before the elections came up, he publicly announced that he was not in favor of the decriminalization of marijuana, that he was worried about the Second Amendment. When
I was really shocked by that. Like when that came out, honestly, I was very surprised that that's the stance he took. And then I'm sitting there telling, and this is after the fact, like when I realized that I really wasn't in total support of him, and when I really started to consider campaign finances and where those come from. And I remember reflecting back on that, like, I wonder how much money he was getting from Big Pharma when he just really took that hard line, right?
Exactly. So you see, as we start paying attention to these things, and it literally clicks in your head, the laws that they pass are the laws that I gotta abide by. They can make a law tomorrow. Hey, if your name starts with a T, or if you're wearing a white shirt, we're gonna arrest you. That's when people, it clicks. Holy shit, I gotta get more involved. I gotta get better educated, and I gotta know who I'm gonna vote for. And not voting is not cool. Not voting is not the way out.
It makes nothing. Like I get people who would attack me when I was working on the campaign and really promoting, third party and just voting in general, just to make sure that you have some kind of voice. And for the people out there who are like, well, voting doesn't make any difference, so I'm not going to vote. And I'm like, well, what difference does not voting make? Like
exactly. That's enablement. That's not voting is just like being near a fire extinguisher, letting the fire grow and say, yeah, I'm not going to do nothing. Like
it's too heavy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hello, you're being part of the problem, whether you want to accept it or not. And again, You tell people these type of things, and then they come, they get all up in there. Oh, I missed a moment. Hold on, bear with me. So many people writing to me now. There's even a question here for you, but people get in there, and then it's hard to communicate logic to them until you give them some time to relax and get out of there. And then we can have a cordial, logical, rational conversation. Trish, we do have a question for you here, and it's actually from Donnelly. Shout out Dan Donnelly, by the way. Donnelly.
I know him. Hi, Dan.
Donnelly, you are the man. Just felt you deserve that right there, because the stuff that you have done for the Libertarian Party is incomparable. A lot of people give me my props, but Donnelly, I just want to say, man, thank God that you exist, and I wish that you had some clones to help get this out sooner. So Donnelly asks, is Trishanda active in Ohio's Libertarian Party?
At the moment, as far as like at a leadership level or anything like that, I was on the CENTCOM for a time, and I kind of stepped back from that because I'm really focusing a lot on things, again, more locally. So still serving on, council, and then my husband and I actually took our business, and like it is like exponentially growing in this coming year. Thank you. So between that and then also the philanthropy that I'm kind of involved in and growing, which is like a drive for like a sober living farm for women, like after they get out of rehab. So that's something that I'm actually working on a lot too. So I kind of had to decide like where my time was best spent. So I am a financial monthly supporter. So I'm giving my dollars and I'm serving locally. But beyond that, as far as like, other than consultant level stuff, I'm not really serving in any kind of role at the moment.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Donnelly, I hope that brings more clarity to your question and shout you out again once again. And if you want to ask more questions, feel free to do so. We got some people in here waving at Trishanda. Trishanda has nice eyes. Okay, hey, we got some compliments as well. That's nice to see.
That better be my husband saying that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to the lucky guy later on, cause when I told a few girls about this episode, because remember I do work with women, and within my personal circle I do know girls as well, which I do hold many debates with. We try to keep it as friendly as possible. So they were like, wow, you're actually interviewing a female who I didn't know you ran for office. Congratulations. But they were like, wow, you're actually interviewing a female who's willing to talk about certain things. So, once again, shout out to your husband, because that's going to be like the juiciest part of tonight. But, to get the ball rolling, we already clarified why people should be getting involved in politics, why people should be vetting their candidates better, no matter your party affiliation, whether it's Green Party. We acknowledge the Green Party exists. Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. There's a few other parties as well, just to summarize it and leave it at that. But, get involved. Be aware. The same way you set up your lineups in your sports teams, the same way you set up the songs in your playlists, set up your politics. Like that, we don't get arrested for these unconstitutional laws. We don't get taxed into poverty via these corrupt politicians, because people always say, oh, this is politics. Well, guess what? If you turn the other cheek and allow the problem to continue to grow, just like cancer, it'll eventually reach a size that is nothing but a guaranteed death. And now
that's why on Larry's campaign, like my primary job when I was on that campaign was basically communicating policy so it was, readily edible for the public. So, no, for real, because I had to take like these white papers that were done by the policy team, with all this crazy language that people are not going to want to read.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to take Larry's words and ideas and like marry those things together and basically put it out there so the public, could read that and say, hey, I understand what this guy is saying. So like if you go to larrysharp.com/policy, because Larry's page is still active because he's coming back. I know he is. I haven't talked to him about it yet, but I cannot wait.
Yep.
And, you know, we worked really hard on that, and it was like a huge focus for me, because if people don't understand where you are on issues and understand, you know, legislatively what your plan really is, because I can't stand that people are like, I'm going to cut taxes. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? And then the funds that you do cut, those are financing something. So how are you either going to eliminate that program, or how, you know what I mean? Like, all of those step-by-step things, like, those things are so important.
Oh, of course. I actually have a video piece right here. Let me find it real quick. And I think you might have subconsciously answered another question which said, what is Trishanda's biggest libertarian issue? So I think you might have answered it right there. If you want to elaborate on it real quick while I find the Larry Sharp piece that I would like to play. But yeah, what is your biggest libertarian issue?
Oh, like 100%. I am behind total drug reform. So I feel like the root of so many problems in society is centered on the war on drugs. And I don't think there is a single soul alive out there that can say that the war on drugs has been remotely successful. You know, I actually just read an article. I think this was last week. I was reading an article about a gentleman who was down in Louisiana and had served 20 years for selling a dime bag to an undercover officer.
Oh,
And
crap.
20 years of your life for a
Taken
dime
away.
bag
Yep.
of something that grows right out of the earth. Like, that really was heartbreaking to read that, you know, that man's his whole life was ruined over something like that. And that happens like all the time. And let's face it, I mean, statistically speaking, we can definitely connect the dots that it's a bigger detriment to communities of color than it is, you know, any other community too. So, and I feel like it's really, I mean, honestly, to me, like, the police violence, just all the issues that we are facing legally and within communities and everything goes back to drugs, like, and the way that it's been mismanaged. And then, you know, we could go even further, and let's just say, in terms of pharmaceutical and how those things are manipulated and how they're used to manipulate politicians and campaigns, and the way that that plays off of the war on drugs is a bunch of crap too.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I had to say, like, if I had to pick just one thing, like, the war on drugs is a disaster. And I mean, I've studied this for a really long time. While I was working on my bachelor's degree at Antioch University, I did a paper on, you know, decriminalization and, you know, just the need that we have for research into this plant and the things that it is capable of, and the fact that we're being blocked from doing that simply because somebody decided that it wasn't okay. Like, it's that simple. Like, you know, that is definitely a passion for me. And, you know, like I told you, I'm interested in starting a sober living farm for women who are recovering from drug addiction, and the war on drugs works against all of that also.
Yeah,
You know?
wow. Thank you, so much for elaborating on that as well, because I know the girls, they're gonna hear this and they'll be able to see, the type of steps that they could take in any direction to just give back and help the less fortunate, because with Joe Jorgensen's campaign recently, I saw a gigantic spike in female libertarian growth and all that. And
interest, but I am still concerned about our ability to retain them, you know, depending upon what direction we go in with the next candidate. Like, if it's not a woman, were they interested enough in our stances, and did Joe and Spike communicate those well enough for us to retain that interest next go around if it happens to be a male candidate? You know what I mean? I hate to say that, like, I know people don't like to hear that, but it's the truth.
Oh, listen, people, again and again, I say this all the time, that people really, really have to get out of that emotional reaction that they've been programmed to constantly have within themselves and think things through. But what I do see with a lot of these libertarian women, they have stuck around because the Libertarian Party, for the most part, there are still a few bad apples, which we're not gonna give them any type of recognition. But I would say the Libertarian Party would be a lot better without them. But for the most part, the Libertarian Party accepts people for how they are. Because what I've seen with the Republican and the Democrat Party, they're very polarized. The Democrat Party is just like, are you on board with us about being a super leftist and anything that hurts your emotions being censored and people being disarmed to the max, even though the runaway slave patrol slash tyranny enforcement is out here busting caps like a bottle opening contest. Are you in support?
I can't help. I must tell you, I love the way you say that. Every time you say it, and I'm not laughing because I don't believe it. Like, I'm just laughing because it is utter truth. It is utterly true. Like, that is a great way to put that.
Yeah, when people learn the history, a lot of people, I've been the one awakening them, or when I take them to the diversity shoots. Shout out Tony Simon, Anthony Calandro, Sean Fitcher, and Keith Panelon, by the way. When I take them to the diversity shoots and they learn that the Democrat Party was the original party of the KKK, when they learn police origins in the South were runaway slave patrol, and in the North were muscle for hire. They were night watch, but also muscle for hire. So let's say if I owed you money, Trish, you could have hired these guys to come and get it out of me if you didn't want to deal with me direct. You know, so when people learn these things, they're just like, holy shit, what the hell am I supporting here? You know, or what am I bypassing and all that? Wow, Trish, we got another question for you. It's hot. Trishanda, what are your views on sex work legalization? Before you answer that, I just want to say the Libertarian Party does not polarize people. We accept you as you are, and that question right there is actually what I was gonna say. A lot of sex workers have became political via the Libertarian Party because we're heavily supportive of sex work without government regulation, more about the entrepreneurial individual aspect of it. But go ahead, Trish, your view on sex work.
It's a really hard question for me to answer because at the heart of it all, on a personal values level, I'm pretty conservative. I have to admit that, okay? So I always tell people, like, generally, I mean, I'm a Christian, I try to go to church regularly, like all of that. So I have to walk like a pretty fine line between this. I think at the end of the day, like, I have to look at it more with my business brain, okay? And speaking historically, the things that our government has decided should be outcast or should be outlawed or are practices that people are not allowed to do, as soon as they put that stamp on stuff, really, let's face it, it actually makes it a bigger problem.
Okay? It does.
And I think my biggest concern is no matter how, and I think this applies to everything, so let's put abortion on this list, let's put drugs on this list, let's put guns on this list. I mean, let's say every single thing that you can think of that the government tells you you can't have. It's like as soon as they do that, it puts an extra value to that thing, right? And I think it drives people to do it more and to sometimes do it in worse ways, right? Like when abortion was outlawed, the dangers to women's health, because if they wanted an abortion or if they needed to have it,
they would have to go
getting them
underground market.
Yeah, and they were dying. And I think the same can be said for sex work, and for women who are independently choosing to go into that, who are not coerced, who are not trafficked into that. In the current environment as it stands, the risks to them are so great. So, it's really hard because I hate saying things should be regulated or managed or whatever. But I do feel like there is a place for legal sex work, and I think that there's a place where we have to look at the laws as they stand, because at the end of the day, making it illegal hasn't certainly stopped it. Right?
Not at all. It's to add to what you just said there with that explanation. Two things real quick. Number one, it does put women in danger because being that they're gonna go underground market, anything happens to them, they can't go to the proper authorities, quote unquote. In order to ask for help, because then they'll get in trouble. We saw that happen. If you watch the Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix, this girl, when she was underage, I think 15, 16, 17, she realized she made a mistake, and she was, bringing other girls. She saw it as, oh, I'm just bringing the girls here to make some money as well, due to child labor laws. And the amounts of money that he was given for just a massage session down in Fort Lauderdale, I believe it was, or Palm Beach, somewhere within that area. The girl actually got in trouble for that because she was an accomplice in human trafficking. And she was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I tried to do the right thing, realizing that I made a mistake, and due to current active legislation, I got penalized. For that, I would have just kept my mouth quiet and would have never helped, these.
Well, and let's face it, if she had a means, if she wanted to do that, and she had a means to be legally documented as saying such, right? Like a permit or whatever you want to call it. And again, I realize that's another level of regulation. But I think by having something like that, the people who are being coerced or trafficked will be taken more seriously when they come forward and say, hey, this is not my choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, as long as it's all considered black market and illegal, how do they differentiate? In all fairness, how does a detective differentiate? I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right.
But once again, I must say, on a conservative level, like, I really wish that we lived in a world where people didn't need to seek those type of services out, where people could find meaningful relationships with meaningful people. But I do recognize, humans biologically, there are needs that need to be fulfilled, and hey, anytime there's a demand, there's generally going to be a supply. So,
yep, exactly.
Like I said, I have a fine line there.
No, and you did a great job, like, explaining it and all that, because that's something that, me being a man, I could advocate for a hard body, but I'll be deemed a pervert for advocating for it. Even though they don't comprehend that I'm looking at it from the safety aspect, because that was a second piece I wanted to throw on. I'm going to keep this as anonymous as possible. But let's just say, throughout my lifetime, I met a female or two who I wanted to have a relationship with, and they put me to the side and all that. And now they have picked up sex work because they don't like working. They don't like being told by a boss what to do. They don't like having to be somewhere at a certain time. And they don't like their potential to make money, to have a cap. Oh, you make this much an hour no matter how much labor you put in that hour. So what they told me was, hey, we know that you've always had an attraction for us, and, we fucked up in the past and shit, but now for a price, you could get what you wanted from us. And I'd be lying to say, men don't want sex. Of course we do. That's what we find women attractive. And guess what, everybody? Before you come out here and be all up about things, we don't play that sugarcoating fairy tale nonsense bullshit over here. A stork did not deliver you to your parents. You got here because your parents made it happen, So of course, I had some type of sexual interest in them, but I also saw, like, I like their personality. I like the way that they smell, I wanted to build something with them, especially back then when I was heavily blue-pilled, because holy crap, I've been desensitized so much within the past, like, even though I was always kind of desensitized, again, I never believed in Santa Claus and all that, but even more in my later teenage years, when I realized, oh, wait a minute, women, and this is no disrespect to women, but facts are facts, most of them, if they have an opportunity to get ahead utilizing their sexual appearance, they're gonna take advantage of it. So I always come to the realization of things. You can't really restrict things from people, because, how you said, they'll get rebellious, one. Two, it'll create an underground market for it, which will lead to them being endangered, because now these girls that I once knew, they're working for guys that could bring them in a lot of males as well. But I know the type of guys that are going to be brought about to them. I wish them nothing but the best, and it's just sad that it had to go down that route due to current legislation, because what I believe in is decriminalize sex work, because, again, this might hurt some feelings here, but in my opinion, dating and marriage are somewhat sex work and all that, depending on the cooperation.
Where people place their values.
Exactly, depending on where values are placed and the cooperation really via labor-wise, the woman. Because if she's out here, oh, buy me this, buy me that, and all I'm gonna do is look good for you and have sex with you to compensate for your efforts and your investment, then hey, who wouldn't look at that and say, wait a minute, for that I could just hire a sex worker and get what I want and not have to deal with all the roller coasterness of things. But you know, the safety issues as well, because it's not me being a pervert or whatever. I could easily be in a relationship with any female that I do find attractive, or females, because I do believe in polygyny as well. Women do outnumber men by a long shot. D-Day alone, Normandy Beach, I believe it was. That right there, if there was ever an equal number of men and women, that right there put women way up and men way down. It was a beach full, thousands of men, blood all over the place. The beach was full of blood. You know, the shots, the sharks were there taking shots like it was a Super Bowl party.
And for the record, if my husband is listening right now, which I think he might be from another room, I am not for polygyny, so you better stop.
Oh, I can't wait till we get to that segment. You know, we're just answering questions here. But what I believe in for sex work is providing, like, especially now that we're gonna have a lot of these empty buildings, a lot of these, you know, businesses that might never come back. You gut them out and just create, you know, floors and rooms where these women could advertise themselves.
They've already done it in Nevada.
Exactly, there you go. And guess what? You don't really hear about women getting, you know, their asses beat in Nevada. You know, they're...
the violence affiliated with prostitution is like, I mean, it's not nil, but it is nowhere near like it is, you know, in, say, Illinois, you know, like up towards Chicago, or obviously New York State too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Truth to that.
For real, for real. So yeah, you know, that's how I go about it there, because people need to listen, and once they do listen and they catch the full-blown explanation of things and they get out of there, then they could, you know, absorb things better and better comprehend it. We didn't all know how to walk at one point, but we kept trying. And no matter how much you cried because you fell and all that, you knew during that time period, hey, if I don't learn how to do this, I'm going to be crawling for the rest of my life. So now, you know, people are starting to listen more, and thank God that the advancement of technology has brought, you know, more clarity to planet Earth. It's allowed us to become better connected and have more elaborated, transparent conversations, so that there is no confusion and absolutely zero about these issues. Because again, when people get in there, no productivity occurs. All you have is a bunch of angry people, or people who don't comprehend things correctly. And let me tell you, if you don't comprehend things correctly, all you're gonna have is failures. I think we kind of answered it, but just to fully, you know, put the stamp on it. Libertarian Party and women. Why? I think we both could agree that the Libertarian Party is currently the best choice for any and all women, no matter what your beliefs are. Trishanda, rip it.
I think the greatest part about being in this party is the fact that, like, if you look at somebody that you know is a woman who says, I am a Democrat, you know what mold she fits in, generally, okay? Stereotypically speaking, I don't know, I can't put a percentage to it, to be honest. What, 95% of women who are Democrats fit in this certain mold. A woman who says, I am a Republican, 95% of those women fit into a mold. In my experience, since becoming affiliated with the Libertarian Party, there is no mold. And I value that so much, because once again, we're talking voting people, supporting ideas, not some party, not some team, not some central line. And, you know, the fact that the Libertarian Party at the end of the day says that you can, and I love Larry I'll always remember Larry said, you could be whoever you want to be. Just don't tell me what I have to be, you know? And you
I'm sorry, it's just...
Larry's great.
No, not only that. Larry is great, but just the way you're explaining things right now, like, I know the girls, a few of them are watching right now. I see y'all ladies, by the way. I told y'all, look, you know, we have one here in the flesh talking the facts, no feelings whatsoever. The way you just explained that right there is about acceptance, allowing you to be who you want to be. And if you go by the polarized parties, Democrat and or Republican, you'll find things from the other side that you do agree with, but you don't want to go to the other side because there's a lot of things you don't agree with. But now you're tired of the restraints of things that you do agree with from the other side, which your current party is withholding you from, and which you could say.
Imagine if your candidate didn't have a color by their name, it didn't have a letter by their name, and you know, just imagine what that would look like. You might actually have to listen to what they're saying.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Thank you for that. And I did find the Larry sound clip. It is 50 seconds, but it is 50 seconds of platinum value. Let me play it real quick because it helps add on to what we just said here.
Into the Republican Party, you got nothing. Everything the Republican said he was going to do, not only did he not do it because he couldn't, but his ideas are gone. And those of you who remember who were in New York, he talked about the idea of a 30% reduction in tax. Where's that idea? Is he pushing it somewhere? Is the party talking about it? No, gone. So, going to stop corruption? What happened? Gone. Never heard of it. Gone. Nothing. So it was a bunch of lies to get people to keep the Republican Party second place and to move on. If you're a Democrat, what did he tell you? We're going to get rid of corruption. What happened? Gone. Nothing. We're going to legalize cannabis. What happened? Gone. Nothing. So everything he said lied. Not just that, we're going to fix the budget. New York State has a $6 billion shortfall. $6 billion shortfall. Just New York State. That's how bad we are. If you voted Republican or Democrat in New York State, you got nothing. Zero change. That was a wasted vote.
So yeah, right there, Libertarians, we live and die abiding by the United States Constitution, and when we acknowledge that there's an issue that we want to touch on, we don't let the idea die. Libertarians have been losing more than winning political runs since our creation, but you know what? The ideas never died. They're spoken about daily up until, you know, look at us right now, modern day Libertarians. We're still talking about the issues that back at the birth of this party in 1971, shout out all the greats who brought this party about. We're talking about back then, and now we're seeing the ball moving. The decriminalization marijuana, the importance of the Second Amendment, the entire concept of accepting people for who they are, what they believe in, as long as they're not trying to force it upon anybody. I ask people all the time, Trishanda, do you like ice cream?
I love it.
I hate ice cream, but you know what? I could still walk with you to a Baskin Robbins. You know, that's the libertarian in me. Hey, I'm not gonna order nothing, but I'm not gonna hate Trish either.
How do you hate ice cream? What is the matter with you?
So what I think it is, due to my
intolerant?
no, I'm not lactose intolerant, thank God. I don't have any food allergies or anything. I just don't like cold, period. How I was gonna say.
You gotta ask my husband about that, because he will not eat potato salad and he will not eat macaroni salad because he said he doesn't like his food cold. So maybe you guys have that in common.
Probably, you know. You know, I could see he and I getting along very well because he got what I wish for, which we're gonna get to that as well, because I know there's people here like, oh, when is that coming? But hold on, we gotta get everything else out the way as well. I think it's because of my genetics also, because I could stand under the sun, even 115-degree weather. I don't know if you remember, about 2 or 3 years back, we had back-to-back days in the summertime where we were at 110, 115, and then the humidity, even though it was a little bit of humidity, I remember those days clearly, but due to the humidity as well, it'll even boost it even more. I would stand outside my job just absorbing the sun, and I was putting videos of me on my Instagram, and a lot of people, you know, that don't like heat, whatever, they were like, oh my God, how could you handle it? And I told people the same way you can handle cold, I could handle heat. You know, I tan like a motherfucker. You feel me? I'm light skinned right now, but
I burn and I go back to like ivory.
Oh, okay. No, I tan. I get brown. I end up looking like a well done chicken nuggets. You know.
Nice.
So yeah, I guess it's just part of my genetics. Also my teeth. I had braces. Like I never liked cold period, but when I had my braces, you know, that's metal in your mouth. Holy shit! The cold would just shock me. Like my whole head would just be like, and I couldn't take it no more. So I do my best to stay away from cold. I don't like ice in my drinks and all that. But as a libertarian, I'm not gonna slap the cup out of your hand for
Right.
for you eating ice cream. I'm a semi-vegan, but I'm not gonna slap the plate out of somebody's hand if they're enjoying any type of
You
pork.
take my steak, you are in deep trouble.
There you go, yeah, because I'm a heavy Second Amendment advocate, but just like the gun range owner Anthony Calandro, shout him out by the way, he and I gun nuts to the max, but we're not hunters. I don't have it in me. I can't shoot a deer or a beaver. No, I can't. I could kill a human being out of self-defense, easy. There's no second question. Oh, you out, bang. You know, you want to cause harm to me or any type of innocent party, you're done. You know, because you're the initiator, the creator of negativity and hostility. You got to be dealt with. The only way I could kill an animal is in self-defense, because even spiders, insects as well. I see spiders, I don't kill them, I catch them, and I set them free.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, and you know...
I didn't used to, but I've got a really good friend who's very pro-animal, and she was talking to me about it, and because it mattered to her, I'm like, you know what, really, what are they going to hurt? So I taught my kids the same thing. We take like a solo cup and an envelope or something and catch them up and put them back outside to eat some more insects that irritate us.
Exactly, you know, take the mosquitoes. I'm a
Right.
blood type, I think O negative. Mosquitoes love O type bloods because we're the least prone to disease. We age the slowest. This is why even me now at 32 years old, I do look like a teenager. Thank you, God.
Are you really in your 30s? I did not know that.
Yeah, 32, 1988. I'll be 33 in December this year.
All right.
But yeah, so mosquitoes tend to love our blood, so I rather advocate for more spiders, less mosquitoes, and if God forbid I ever get bit by a spider, at least I hope they remember that, hey, he looked out for us so much that this bite is gonna give him Spider-Man powers.
Right.
You know? So yeah, hold on, somebody has a question for me. Cash, if pressed, could you drop a coyote if he was threatening your flock of sheep? Yeah. In self-defense or the protection of an innocent entity, the hostile entity better run for dear life, because I am a killer. A killer. Believe that. And if it ever comes down to it, like, whoever's conducting the act of malice, I can handle them with zero remorse and go make a veggie lasagna right after. And, you know, watch some Larry Sharp videos and get ready for my next day. Whether I'm at work or off. So, that leads now to the second, you know, important topic that I wanted to touch on. We've already had a lot of clarity here. Trishanda, we hear a lot of women constantly advocating for equality and how they want to be safe, that they're scared out here because of all these perverts, even though we are technically living prior to the whole C-19, the safest time period ever, because you could be in a dark alley and go live on your mobile device and you could have hundreds if not thousands of people watching you, being witnesses. You know, you could tell people where you're located at, so if anything happens, oh, they were last seen here. In contrast to decades ago where, you know, you and I communicating here via this, you know, technological advancement was only a dream. The Second Amendment, the largest equalizer, in my opinion, known to men and women, you know, humankind, whatever. Don't come after me, all of the people out there who wanna get super technical with terms and pronouns and all that. But I hear a lot of women constantly brag about that they want equality. Whatever a man could do, a woman could do. I am woman, hear me roar, roar. But then when I talk to them about the Second Amendment, self-defense and firearms, no, I don't know. I probably would end up catching a trip all up in my and I don't trust myself with a firearm. How do you respond to that? To let the women know that this is very crucial and important to them, and it should go beyond the United States, just a basic concept of self-defense via the whole planet.
I agree with all of that pretty much in full. I mean, it's so hard to say this without like stereotyping women. I try to avoid that as much as I can because I know I have a cousin out there who does jujitsu, and this girl could drop anybody. Okay, so she does not need a gun, but she has a gun. She has her CCW regardless. But I mean, what I'm getting at here is we all have certain rights that we have to defend. Whether it's bodily safety, safety of our offspring, our children, safety of the property that we work really hard to attain. And to be honest with you, with how chaotic the socio-political climate has become, like even here in the tiny little town that I live in, there are times when I fully believe somebody could just roll up in here and try to take what I got. And if I don't have a gun, and they do, because let's face it, if a bad guy wants a gun, he's going to get a gun. I don't care what law they wrote into place to say he couldn't have his gun. If he wants a gun, he's getting a gun, right? Okay, so that guy's coming up here with a gun. If I don't have a gun, what am I going to do? I'm going to hand all my stuff over. I'm going to lose what I hold valuable. I might have to give away my child. I do not know. Like, if I don't have the ability to stop him with my own gun, like, I just don't understand how a woman could ever say, like, I can't trust myself with a firearm. If that's true, then you need to take yourself to the shooting range, find yourself a firearms instructor, and learn how to use one. Because at the end of the day, if somebody comes at you with a gun and you don't have a gun, you will lose, period.
Thank
There's
you.
no other way around it.
And that's what I don't get, because women tell me, oh, I'm empowered, I can do anything a man can do, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but I don't trust myself with a firearm or any type of self-defense.
I love firing guns. I ain't gonna say I'm a great shot. I'm an okay shot. My kids, like, there's probably gonna be some people that don't like this, but let's see, it was 2 Christmases ago now. My kids got their first 22 and first BB gun, and they were 8, 6, and 4. 8, 6, and 4. They got their first guns. So, like, I say as soon as possible, like, tell somebody how to arm themselves, because you never know when you got to protect what you hold sacred, right?
Exactly. So for you ladies out there who say, oh, I don't know what to do, I don't trust myself, let me tell you.
That does not make sense.
Because what the fuck? I don't get it. You complain about the safety. You complain about all these perverts. You're constantly out here with a look on your face that shows that deep inside, this is what you're feeling. And you don't trust yourself with the capability of defending yourself, but I am woman, hear me roar. I don't get it. There's a lot of hypocrisy again.
A gunshot's a lot scarier than any roar.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That is the biggest roar ever. The gunshot itself. So ladies, y'all watching here, y'all hearing it from a woman who advocates for children to get armed. And again, everybody get out of your... Because the reason we're here today, if you don't believe me, you could watch the movie The Patriot, along with a lot of other historical colonial time, United States Revolutionary time period movies or shows. There were little children as well who were taught by their parents how to reload and fire, because they knew these redcoats were coming and there was no time to be all up in your... You had to take action, because...
And look at the climate that we're in right now. Like, we have so much social unrest. Like, I mean, legitimately, we could face a time like that again. I truly believe that.
Mm-hmm. And if you're going to depend, how somebody said right here, you want the government to protect you. Guess what, ladies? The majority of the government is made up of men. So
and
how...
Our gun rights are not meant to protect us from one another. They are meant to protect us from the government. And if we allow the government to take our guns, who's going to protect us from the government if they get too big?
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all want to say, oh, I don't need a man, and can't no man tell me what to do. So yeah, you're going to let a man tell you that you can't defend yourself, ladies? Really?
That does not make sense.
You're going to tell a man that, no, I'm gonna take care of you, even though you are a woman, so I want to hear you roar, and anything I could do, you could do better. You're gonna tell me you'd rather depend on me to protect your behind, and being biased against, you know, traditional roles. You want to say that you could do everything I could do, but then you want to say at the same time that you want me to protect you again.
That does not make sense.
And you want to claim that you're strong, independent, and you don't need to, you know, rely on nobody for anything. You could get it done yourself. But then again, no, I don't trust myself with a firearm.
That does not make sense.
So we're trying to expose all of the bias, all of the hypocrisy to the maximum degree. We do not want anybody up in here with their... We want all brain, rational, logical thoughts.
I laugh every time you play that because, you know, as logical as I am legitimately an empath. Does that blow your mind at all?
Nah, it doesn't, because empathy takes a lot of logic as well, because you're not only thinking about in the moment, you're thinking about long term. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm an empath towards thievery. Instead of me, you know, relying on punish culture, trying to figure out how to discipline you, my empathy would be, why are you even in this predicament to begin with, and what could we do to help you, rather than tarnish your record and ruin your life? What could we do to help you and put you in a position where you don't have to steal, you know? So believe me, logical thought goes hand in hand with empathy. When you're being empathetic, you're using the larger portion of logic to guide that particular feeling. You're not allowing yourself to be overwhelmed by your and just reacting within the moment, because a reaction in the moment, unless your life is truly in danger, a reaction within the moment could be life-changing forever, and we only have one life to live, and there is no time to be out here wasting time, period. It's just one life to live, and as long as you're thinking, you know, best believe, the more rational thought that you apply to any situation in everyday life, you're gonna get really far. And how my man's Jada Kiss will say, but if you go and get carried away, then there will be absolutely nothing that you could accomplish, and this is gonna lead to a life of misery. You know, you got emotional in the moment. I'll give you a perfect example of emotion. There was a video of this one woman, unfortunately enough, pardon me, years ago, that she was so scared to get on a roller coaster. She was saying, I'm gonna do it, but I'm scared. I'm gonna do it, but I'm scared. I'm gonna do it, but I'm scared. She forgot to put her seatbelt on in the roller coaster. Bitch, you were all up here in your... that you didn't think to put your fucking seatbelt on. If I ever find that video, I'll repost it. I'll tag you in it, Trish. You know, I try to tag you in everything, but without overwhelming you either, because I love the perspective you have on life and the actions that you have taken that back up the perspective that you do have. You know, because again, rhetoric, talking points, how Larry just said, you know, you got all these talking points from these political parties with zero follow through, zero action, zero long-term commitment, and zero aspiration to keep it going. It was just a talking point within the moment, and that's a bunch of bullshit. And again,
that does not make sense.
And if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars. You feel me?
I do.
So, you know, ladies, Second Amendment, you want to be empowered. You want to be equal to men. You want to not have to rely on a man. You want to be just as strong as a man. Utilize it. Advocate for it. It's your safety. You're out here constantly worried about these perverts and you know, anything that could happen to you and all that. So I'm going to tell you right now. And warrior up. You know, there are women and warriors. A perfect example, Wonder Woman and the Amazons. The women of Israel, the women of Russia, the women of Switzerland. These are...
and freedom fighters.
Exactly.
Female freedom fighters from India. Those girls are amazing.
Exactly. And these are the type of women that they're not all up in there. They're thinking about what could they do best possible for self-preservation to get to see tomorrow, you know? All right. So now that we got that out the way, oh boy, here we go. This is the part that everybody's been waiting for. And they didn't think it was true because I watch these videos all the time. I'll keep this anonymous, but I was having a conversation with a big female name a few nights ago about this, and she said it herself that she hates that women talk about it but don't want to be about it, and due to them not being about it, that you're gonna see a lot of lonely women in the future unless two things occur. Number one, they do a full-blown 360 along with a heavy bodily makeover. Let's be realistic here. They're going to have to get some work done as well in order to find a man of older age to actually want to keep them for the rest of their lives. Because us men, we're wired. You know, I find older women attractive and all that, but I wouldn't be able to get the best offspring for the most part out of an older woman, a woman in her 40s and above and all that. But being that I'm a supporter. What the hell? Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, well, I don't know if that was you or me. All right, so it was me, but that person, I just told them tune in. That's how you know it's real. But me being a supporter of polygyny and do some mathematics, because we could agree numbers don't lie, right?
Right.
There's two of you sitting right there. Can I say that there's three of you sitting right there?
No.
Numbers don't lie. Women outnumber men like a motherfucker. So
Hey, how is my sound? Because I removed my mic so that we could both speak.
All right, so yeah, it does sound good, thank God, and
Okay.
no complaints here in the audience. It sounded a little bit louder with the headphones, but this is good as well. It's not that much of a difference. It's kind of like going from a 223 to what is a 557.
Right.
Boom. So so yeah, you know, with women, again, we hear the rhetoric. I am woman, hear me roar. Roar. I'm strong and independent, and I could do anything that a man could do, and I don't need no man, blah blah blah. But biology doesn't lie, numbers don't lie. Women outnumber men like a mother flower, and if women don't get their act together long term, they're gonna be lonely, or they're gonna have to all right, so somebody said that you guys did sound a little bit lower due to the removal of the headphones. So can you raise that mic a little bit more?
Not 100% sure how we can share the sound is the only bad part.
Yeah, stay close. There you go. I like that connection right there. And I just want to tell your husband, God must have had a lot of love for you, because not only did he give you a woman of good looks, because realistically, us as men, we are look driven first and then we vet the personality. But he gave you a woman like, I don't know, he had you come up, the pitcher lobbed the ball at you, and you hit a grand slam with Trish.
That is perfect for him. He loves baseball.
Yeah, you know, because a lot of us men, myself included, you know, I have a lot of my homies that we talk about all the time. Why can't women just come up to us? And, you know, a lot of women didn't believe me when I told them I would have a woman on the show who did make the first move. And again, for women who choose to not take action and continue playing these mind games and all that, in the long run, if you do not take action, what's going to happen is you're going to be one of the women saying, "Where did all the men go?" And we don't want that for ya. So either you get some heavy work done if you're in the older portion of age, or embrace polygyny. And for you young ladies out here, If you don't stop playing games, guess what? You're gonna be another voice saying,
what happened? Where did all the men go?
so the beautiful, amazing, libertarian porcupine love story of the century, in my opinion. I have not heard anything as spectacular as your story. And before I say what it is, I just wanna give it as much hype, validation, supports, and full blown.
I'm blushing.
Because this is amazing. This is spectacular. This is fucking magnificent. And this is a message that needs to domino affect the world. You know, and we're seeing it happen in a lot of nations where women disproportionately outnumber men, where they're even providing some type of incentive to men pre
Coronavirus!
again. There was incentives for men to go to these nations and you know, get with those women, because again, if people aren't reproducing and having children, it's gonna fuck up the economy. You know, in order to have children, there has to be what? Compatibility. And in order to have compatibility, we cannot have women all up in there, because then it's just gonna lead to massive failure. So this
I
is
told you would get along with him. Look at him. He's loving this.
yeah, and I never got his name, by the way, so Jack, I just want to say,
His name
man,
is as simple as mine is complicated.
so can we say this is the alternative universe when Jack and Rose, you know, they both survive and go on to live happily ever after?
Sure.
So you know, the story is truly amazing, and I just want you to share how you really showed us that you were a woman who truly believed that you took action, you went for the goal that you had, and you said, I like this man, there's only one life to live, tomorrow's never promised, so again, and I'm going in. Trish, could you tell us how you made it happen?
Yes. And this goes a little bit. I'm gonna open with something more recently that happened that actually I think led to me getting fired from a job. No, for real.
I'm sorry for laughing, but it's just like, damn, like,
it's
what?
the truth. It's the truth. I got fired from a job. I've never been fired in my life, but I did pretty much flat out get fired from this job because, and I firmly believe it's because I did this. So the first company-wide meeting that we had, and I was the only woman there at the time, and in this meeting, he went around the room and he asked all these guys, tell us something that we don't know about you. And he said the same thing to me, you know? And I'm thinking to myself, like, because I was put in a position of leadership to try to get the company in shape and help with things like, you know, standard operating protocols and, you know, just help with leadership. And so when he comes around to me and I'm like, I don't think this is going to, I don't know how this is going to go. So I told everybody, I have really big balls.
Or some strong ovaries.
What? Yeah, right. I know, my version of those, right?
Yeah.
And they all just, like, their jaws hit the floor, you know, because I'm actually standing there in, like, heels and a skirt, and like, I have really big balls. But, you know, really what I mean by that is, and I've really lived my life like this every day, and I think it's apparent in the things that I do and how I speak. Like, I'm not afraid to be who I am and who I believe God made me to be, honestly. You know, like I said, I'm a Christian. I believe God made me to be who I am and live my life the way I do, as long as I stay true to that, right? So, when I was younger, like, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence, and I was kind of a geek. Like, I was really into art and band, and like, at our school, you know, sports was supreme, you know, and then there was everybody else that didn't play sports, and I did not play sports. I have zero coordination. I run with my legs and my arms straight, if you can picture that, so it's bad news. But Jack was, like, really popular, and he was a jock, and he was gorgeous, as he still is. And I kind of had this really big crush on him when I was in 7th grade, and I was watching him play basketball, and he was in 8th grade. And I actually gave him a note asking him to go to a dance with me. And, he was like, yeah, I guess I'll go with you. So we went to the Halloween dance together in 7th and 8th grade. And, like, I still remember and he does too, Last Lights Out song. What was it? Yeah, the Last Lights Out song, The World I Know by Collective Soul. And we went to that dance together, and we were supposed to go to the next one, but my family decided to take a vacation, and he ended up going with somebody else, and that was like the end of it for then,
Uh-huh.
So I was really sad. So my freshman year rolls around, and I've gotten a little bit more confident, and a little bit cuter, and I'm like, I think I have something to offer, maybe, but I got to find the right guy. And I saw him at a party with some friends of mine, and he was like seriously like a football field away. And I saw him sitting inside of his friend's car, and he's like listening to CDs. He's in this big old blue hoopty Cutlass Supreme, like, and I look over at one of my girlfriends, and I was like, I heard that he wasn't dating this other girl no more. And she's like, yeah, that's true, it didn't work out. And I was like, well, I don't have anything to lose then. And she was like, what do you mean? And like, I just like took off running across the yard. Like, I take off running, it looked like something out of a movie, I promise you. It had to be so ridiculous to anybody else that was observing this. And I take off running across this yard, and like he's got his foot like out the door of the car, and I throw the door open the rest of the way, just sit myself down on his lap, and I didn't say nothing. I just kissed him, like outright, just kissed him, and he pulled back from me, and his eyes were huge, and he just I don't know. What were you thinking?
I wasn't sure. We were flipping through the radio, probably getting a beer out of the cooler with my buddies or whatever, and here she comes, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I wasn't really expecting it. And
she just rolled up on you like.
She just
Surprise, motherfucker.
She just sat on my lap and like laid it on me, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess she likes me.
So I did that, and then like he pulled back from me, and I'm just sitting there with this big smile on my face, and he leans back into me and kisses me back, and I was, yay. And then he like leaned back again, and I was like, so does this mean we're going out then? And he was like, yeah, I guess so. So like, no, really though, like we dated, well, I mean, like I said, that was when we were 15 and 16. So this year in October, 10/9/99 was our first kind of date, which I wasn't even really allowed to date yet, because I wasn't allowed to date till I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like 10/9 of this year will be 22 years, with like only one tiny little lapse when he graduated and went off to college, and he got a little worried that maybe I wasn't.
This beautiful thing. I was dumb. I didn't know.
No, because
But,
let me tell you, again, your story goes hand in hand with I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, and when women truly say, you took off running. And for those who didn't hear it again, she said, I'm going to make it happen because tomorrow is never promised. Opened that door and said,
Surprise, motherfucker.
you're going to be mine for life.
Well, no, and I kid you not, like 2 weeks after we were dating, I told him that he was going to marry me one day. Like, imagine that, right? I was 15 years old, and I told him, I was like, you're going to marry me one day. And what'd you do? I love this story. It's so funny.
I went home, and when the night was over, I go back to my mom and dad's house, and I go to the bathroom, and I'm looking in the mirror, I'm splashing water on my face. I'm like, man, I gotta run. I'm like, this bitch is crazy. I gotta get out of here. She's gonna marry me. I ain't ready for all this. And sure enough, here we are, like 22 years later.
22 years, 3 sons, a very successful business that we co-own.
And yeah, just opportunities. And she's always been that way. She's a go-getter. She sees it, she gets it. At least she goes for it anyways. She might not always get it, but
she goes
she
goes for it, exactly, because this is a very crucial topic, along with that remarkable, beautiful birth of an amazing relationship that you guys have today, an amazing marriage as well. Even though I don't believe in marriage, but I do believe in those who choose to go down that path, and I wish them nothing but the best. You guys included, Because there's a lot of people that do believe in it. The same way there's a lot of people that like ice cream. I'm not gonna advocate for the total shutdown of ice cream. You know, it's wow. Even the computer is just like, yo, this is amazing. It's amazing because you live the words that first wave feminism advocated for. I'm a woman. I could take charge. I don't only want to be seen as a damsel in distress. If I want something, I'm going to go and get it. You know?
How often do I ask you to rescue me?
Not very often.
Yeah, it doesn't really happen. No,
Wow.
I know my strengths. I know his strengths. And, you know, what you keep saying about this I am woman, hear me roar. Like, I've never said that, and I've never thought that, and I've never felt that. Because I think at the end of the day, like, I fully embrace being a woman. Like, I don't desire, and I don't see myself in competition with a man or any other woman. Like, I compete with myself, so I don't feel the need to, like, advertise or to shout it out to everybody else, like, ooh, I'm powerful. Like, I show that I am powerful, like you said, by the actions that I take. So if I have a dream, if I have a vision, then I sit down and I say, what do I got to do?
Exactly. Thank you so much. Hold on, I'm sorry, but honestly, that it earned it completely. Because this is an issue that I see happen a lot with a lot of women. Remember, New York City, the whole Hudson River area, most densely populated area in the United States. I hear a lot of rhetoric from women, but I rarely hear women take the action. With the exception of, and I'm sorry ladies, but facts are facts, with the exception of the capitalization via their sexuality, their sexual appearance and all that. Now realizing
that matters a lot to me with my curling iron burn with no concealer on it.
No, and you look amazing, by the way. You know, earlier you got a compliment and all that. And let me tell you, all of your pictures, I guess it's due to your happiness and all that. You glow. You're very, I hear this a lot. People say this about me because I'm very big on, skincare and all that. I could go grab like my products and all that, all natural, by the way, vegan, cruelty free. Just how to put that out there. Ding, ding, ding. So I'm very big on preservation of youth and a healthy appearance because unfortunately enough, I do my best not to do this. Somebody said you're beautiful just now. Another female, by the way. So, you know, shout out again, Trish. But in all of your pictures, ever since
I'm
that...
about to be 40. Like, I'm not far from 40. Like, my birthday is the 16th, and I will be... I always forget how old am I 30? 37. I'm 37.
Yeah, and you could easily, like, you fooled me, shit. If it wasn't for your children, I would have easily said, probably 28, 29, 30, pushing it, because
I'll take that.
naturally, you just have this glow. You know, like, I see the happiness inside of you. There's another libertarian couple that they got together rather young and all that. And you just see the glow on the woman. And this is what a lot of women seem to not comprehend about their biology. Again, men are XY chromosomes. Women are XX chromosomes. There's a reason we come out looking the way that we do due to genetic biological makeup, you know? Women, depending how happy they are and how loved they are, because a woman's body is very receptive to genuine good love. Good love.
I know. He already knows this.
Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, no, simply because, you know, a lot of these ladies, they don't know these things, so they got to see it firsthand and all that. Like I said, with you guys and that other couple, I think they're in Utah, I think it is. You know, shout out to them, by the way, and all that. A woman's biology, based on how she is being treated, being loved, has a companion, because the female genetic makeup desires companionship, which is why, you know, a lot of these women who waste their youth being, you know, all wild and crazy, they end up getting a bunch of cats, and then they're left in misery with the quote again.
Don't you go on the cats. I'm about to get a couple cats. You stop with that.
You have a couple cats, but I'm pretty sure you got the husband down pack first.
That's true.
But
I had my priorities.
Yeah, but the reason I mentioned the cats and all that is because women desire companionship so much that when they see that their fertility is damn near gone, if not fully gone, their refuge is pets to not be alone. Because most men, me right now, I'm kind of borderline leaning towards maybe I don't want children. Um, but most men, for the most part, do want kids. You know. So in order to do that, you gotta find the best candidate or candidates possible for those who believe in polygyny and all
Or
that.
if you're really fortunate, she will find you.
Yeah, again, what you did, what you pulled off is remarkable, and look at the long-term success of it. You guys are running a very lucrative, constantly growing, I like the word you used earlier, exponential. For those who don't know what exponential means, ding ding ding, college term, exponential means a multiplying outcome of growth, whether it's good or bad, but in this case is good. So if your business
we
is
don't do addition, we do multiplication.
exactly, so if you find $100 and you make it grow exponentially, it's better than you finding $100 and then only finding $1 afterwards and all that. If you multiply the crap out of it 100 times 100 times 100, that's exponential growth. To the fourth, the fifth power is a gigantic long-term outcome. And look what you guys have today. Look, we're here now. We have the viewership. Would you guys have ever thought back in the 90s when all of this was occurring that, hey, someday our story is going to inspire many?
No.
And look
we
where
try to be simple people, so no,
yeah.
I don't think that
But you see, like, and this is why I'm a heavy advocate for taking action, for goals being set and never giving up, always looking for tomorrow and all that. Because you never know who you're gonna inspire, or if tomorrow will be your lucky day. The night before, you ran across the football field and jumped in his car and told him, hey, I'm gonna make you mine, so
Surprise, motherfucker.
meet your future wife and all that. Like, I'm pretty sure the night before, like, there was a billion other thoughts going through your head. Hey, what I'm gonna eat? What I'm gonna wear tomorrow? What am I gonna watch right now? Did my favorite team win or whatever the fuck, And then the very next day was a turning point, which led y'all to today and is gonna go down in history. I had a lot of women telling me, I don't believe you, Cash. You're really telling me that this girl made the move on the guy, blah blah blah. And I watch a lot of female dating coaches as well as males, and it's always the same bullshit with women. They talk about
there was dating coaches. I didn't know that was a thing.
yeah, there's one. I'll send you videos later on. There's this one well-known female dating coach. Her name is Marnie. And then she says, guys, if you're waiting on women to make the first move, guess what? You're going to be waiting a long time, and women don't like to take the leadership position. Wait, what? That women don't like taking leadership position after all of the rhetoric that they've been spewing since first wave feminism?
That does not make sense.
And then us as men, we provide women with the open lane to take full-blown leadership positions, to take initiative, to take the first, move of execution. And guess what happens?
I think, what, I'll be honest with you, I think pop culture, or like the way the whole social media evolution has happened, I think that it just gets women so busy drawing comparisons that they really don't know themselves. Do you know what I mean? I know I kind of alluded to that earlier. Like, if you get caught up like comparing yourself to the next woman next to you, or to just to anybody else's life, and you don't really look in the mirror and see who you are and what your strengths are, you're going nowhere. You won't go anywhere. And,
you won't go
when
anywhere.
I really realized that, like, as early as my freshman year, but certainly every year, like, I learn more about myself even now in my 30s. And, the more I look at that instead of looking at what somebody else is doing or what somebody else has, like, the stronger I am and the better my life has become. And you see that in me. I know you do.
That, and we've put a lot of work into it. Like, we've had some rough patches. We've had some hard times.
But you make it work.
Never quit.
Yeah.
Always go. Tomorrow's a new day. If it doesn't go your way today, guess what? Tomorrow's a new day. Try again.
Exactly.
You can't quit. You got to keep trudging forward, and eventually it opens up and it's beautiful. But again, it's hills and valleys, it's ups and downs, and you just can't lose sight of what's important, and you got to keep going for that.
Very well said. Because, again, we agree that numbers don't lie, right?
I agree with that 100%.
Do we agree that you cannot deny biology, correct?
Yeah, I would say so.
All right. So, I'm going to get very analytical here. And ladies, I know y'all watching. And I know y'all get mad at me for talking the truth. But again,
in trouble.
I'm going to ask y'all to stay out of y'all. Because I'm about to deliver nothing but facts. So, the woman's biological makeup is constantly seeking companionship. More than likely, and this does not mean all women, but hands down, you can't deny the analytical facts, the majority seek companionship even when they don't verbally say it, subconsciously due to their genetic makeup. The woman who finds a good lifelong companion and receives good love, which I do see you guys having, because again, Trish, you have a fucking glow that if we have a blackout, Jack will not need a flashlight. He could just stand next to you and you can help illuminate the path. When women do have this good love and companionship, it preserves their youth. Nature creates women to develop physically first than men. Why? Because nature recognizes that the older a man is, the more informed he is, and the better he is able to handle situations and all that. So, in order for life to continue growing, more times than often, it makes sense for the younger women to be, if not with men of their equal age, to be with older men, simply because of how what both sides are bringing to the table. That union is gonna do nothing but create productivity. It's gonna prosper. It's gonna flourish, right? When you see women out here playing all these games, not recognizing that they do have a biological clock, the sad inevitable happens sooner or later. They're out here weighing their options left and right, exercising hypergamy to its maximum, not realizing that the same way that they developed quicker than men, earlier than men, is the same way that they're gonna go down first in men, unfortunately. And again, please, ladies, stay out of ya, because this was not me. If it was up to me, we wouldn't age, period. If it was up to me, we'd live in such a paradise. People would probably die of an overdose of life orgasms. That's how great of a world I would create. I would create paradise, literally, But we're not there yet. So we got to recognize facts for what they are. Women develop first in men, but they also age out first in men, because around 30, 35, depending on how hardcore women are on top of their nutritional and mental health. Depending how hard they're on top of that, it can prolong their youth. It can preserve their fertility and kind of slow down the inevitable of the decline, because realistically speaking, the eggs, they start being reduced and all that. In contrast to men that we develop physically later on, men start to fully develop in our 30s. Jack, you look amazing for your age, man. You could easily say, hey, 25, 26, 27, 28. I look like a teenager. Thank God. Men do not start a decline. And even our decline is very little, because if you look at a guy, depending on if he shaves any gray hairs or dyes them, and preserves hydration. Hydration is very crucial, by the way. We could look the same from 30 all the way to 70. Women, unfortunately, again, they have to fight such an uphill battle that I wish...
You've had babies.
You know, that I wish it didn't happen to them and all that and shit. But unfortunately, you know, facts are facts. And I'm trying to get this message out like that we have less and less women, you know, 35 and 40 going.
What happened? Where did all the men go?
Because it's really sad. And, you know, I'll keep this as anonymous as possible, but I see a lot of older women who, they regret taking advances of guys in their youth, and then as they get older and realize that less and less men are approaching them, and they start saying,
What happened? Where did all the men go?
I could see the misery in their eyes, and I don't wish that upon nobody, because you could tell that these women, they weren't really bad. Maybe they weren't informed, even though in my personal opinion, again, before anybody gets in there, in my personal opinion, you should be doing your best to inform yourself. And you see older people, how the fuck you gonna think that you're exempt from aging? You know, like what the what's
That does not make sense.
you know? So a lot of these women, they tell me, hey, you know, I never really thought that I would age. What? Get the fuck out of here. You have a grandmother. What the fuck was he thinking? First Amendment. But yeah, like, I'm trying to get this word out because I feel, and I hate using the word I feel, but it's the empathy inside of me. I feel bad for these older women who don't have someone to be with at night, who don't have someone to bring all those heavy groceries up, who don't have someone to shovel the snow with, or to observe them shoveling the snow while they're preparing the hot chocolate, while they're doing the laundry. And I'm not saying a woman's place is neither in the kitchen or in the laundry room, simply because I believe anything men could do, women could do. And also, hey, if the woman poisons you, maybe she shouldn't have been in the kitchen.
Full disclosure, he does probably most of our laundry.
Wow. Props to that. Yeah, you know, I do my own laundry, and a lot of the times when I don't have the time, because people want to bash me all the time, you're always working, blah. I've had girls dump me because I work. Well, guess what, stupid? If I don't work, my bills don't get paid. I don't have this roof over my head. Like, come on, you know? And again, back to touching on the point I wanted to make. You guys have made the union last via cooperation, clarity, and communication. Because this is what's happening a lot nowadays. Again, back to statistics. Numbers don't lie. I will keep this as anonymous as possible, but I do work with cell phones, and full-blown disclaimer, I never look through a customer's phone. I am under surveillance anytime I am at my location of employment currently. So being that I'm under this surveillance, the cameras do show that I am going through the phone with the customers that I do attend. I don't look through nobody's phone, but your phone. When you activate the screen, what's the first thing you see? Do you guys know? No? Okay. Notifications.
I've never paid attention.
No problem. Notifications. Within these notifications, on average, with females, I am seeing a full-blown loaded box of notifications, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 DMs from men, you know? And it's fucking crazy. Like, us as men, at this point in time, we have to compete with all these guys. And how are we going to be able to pull it off? And part of that is blame towards women. Again, ladies, stay out of y'all. But facts are facts. You got a lot of women weighing options instead of trying to make things work with the guy that they're with, or taking action in the direction of getting the guy that they truly want. I see a lot of women just weighing options on a daily basis, and all that's gonna lead to in the future is a whole lot of sadness and misery, a lot of loneliness, and then again, the ladies come.
What happened? Where did all the men go?
And it's horrible. And they gotta take self-accountability for it. And women get mad at me for this. It's not all women. How are you gonna say that? Why you keep broadcasting these things? Huh? Can you just stop it? Blah, blah, blah. And shit. So, oh, hold on. Let me just respond real quick. Currently. So, yeah, somebody was here writing to me and all that. So I see a lot of this hypocrisy occur, and then when I bring out the facts, the statistics, right now we have the largest number of women in history on antidepressants. Did y'all know that?
Did not know that.
Yep. 60.
I believe it. I feel like probably men, I would have to say people, period,
No,
probably fall in that, honestly.
yeah, definitely people, period. But the biggest chunk of that category is women on antidepressants. Because the thing with men, again, our biology is different. You know, when us men, we could relieve stress, be a good workout. We could relieve stress, be a good laugh. We really and I'll speak for myself and a lot of men who agree. I'm gonna leave Jack out of this. I don't want him later on, you know, is that really how you feel, Jack? Huh? You know, even though Trishanda's a great woman, again, Trishanda, you know, you're an inspiration to women worldwide. A lot of us men, we really don't desire that much companionship, especially after we break like 25 to 30, when we realize that, hey, maybe it's not mandatory for me to have a wife and kids. Hey, I still look young, and I'm going to look young for a long time as long as I stay away from any hardcore accidents, cigarettes, or hardcore drugs that dehydrate me, destroy my collagen, and can contribute to me aging out quicker. We, you know, you see it all the time. These sugar daddies, or even just these men who have kept themselves in such great shape and physical appearance that the younger girls are throwing themselves at them like flies on shit. We don't really have that much of an urge for companionship, especially once we mentally desensitize ourselves to that standard of companionship. You know, like we're pretty much very loner-ish. Me, I love going shopping by myself rather than being with a woman shopping. Why? Two simple reasons. I could get in and out quicker, and I'm not facing any threats from other men looking at the woman that I'm with at the moment, you know, because you know, there are a lot of disrespectful men as well as women. Zero bias here. There's a lot of disrespectful men who will be in a challenging state of mind and try to roll a dice saying, hey, I could probably take that girl. I find her attractive, and I think she should be with him, with me, in contrast to being with him and all that. So I prefer to go out by myself just to avoid these issues and my time. You know, I could get in and out quicker and all that. I like sleeping by myself. I've lived with 3 different women throughout my 32 years that I was intimately involved with. And for the most part, they're taking the sheets. They're kicking me in their sleep. They're snoring. I don't snore, thank God.
Hey, wait a minute. He does all these things. I do not do that.
No, like I said, Trishanda, you're definitely like...
I got cold-ass feet that I will not hesitate to put up on his legs, but I don't feel the sheep or snore, so...
Yeah, you know. And then, women get mad at men for not remembering dates and all that. Like, ladies gotta realize that we are different. We have equal opportunity, but we don't have equal outcome, and our biology is different. Again, our biologies are different. XX chromosome in contrast to XY chromosome. So, we really don't have that urge naturally for companionship, especially after we break out of that state of mind. You know, it happens around 25 that we're just like, wait, I'm not married and I don't have kids, but tomorrow's another day. I could play my video games in peace. I could work out in peace. I could go shopping, buy whatever the hell I want without having to run it by anybody. At my job, the customers who usually have the fastest action plan are single or divorced men. The ones who are more hesitant are married men. Hey, I gotta run and buy my wife. I don't know if I should get this case or this screen protector or this service or insurance on my phone, blah, 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 and all that, So that's the difference there. Where women fuck up at is not knowing this information. This is why I'm spilling the beans on us men. Ladies, you gotta get us early. Because once we desensitize and break out of that state of mind, oh my God, the majority of your future is looking like...
What happened? Where did all the men go?
It's going to be bad, because we realize and start to appreciate our freedom. And as we continue to have better days being alone, have more money in our pockets being alone, we're just like, wait a minute. Holy shit. Yeah, ever watched Family Guy, the cartoon?
Oh, yeah.
So there's this one episode where Peter Griffin makes an example that he's like, I just want to be as happy as a single divorced man with no children. And they show the guy in a studio apartment that he has this TV set up. He's ordered some food and he's like, yo, you know what? I like this peace and quiet. It's kind of nice, And a lot of guys tell me all the time, the issues when they're sleeping, the issues for getting dates, the issues with not being a freely shop, the issues with not being able to go over to a friend's house, having to constantly answer, oh, hey, babe, I'm over here, I'm over there, I'm breathing right now, I just took a step with my left foot, I took a step with my right foot,
See, now you bring up so many points that honestly, remind me of legitimately what revolutionized our relationship. Okay, like he said, we've had ups and downs, things like seasons come and go, especially after having 3 sons, which we had 3 boys in 4 years. Is that right?
And
yeah.
we're gonna get to those boys in a few because this is very crucial as well, but continue.
But after going through all of those things, there was still this point where all of a sudden I found myself feeling like we weren't meshing right, and I couldn't figure out where the gap was. And I have to say, if I could tell anybody who's maybe in a relationship that is finding a lag, or they're just having a hard time building meaningful relation with their significant other, it boils down to 2 things. It is love and it is respect.
Yep.
And the woman needs love, and you're talking about companionship. That love, for her to feel loved and to hear love and to see love on an ongoing basis is so critical.
Mm-hmm.
But by the same token, the man needs respect.
Yes, he does. It's even in the Bible.
If you try to give a man love but not respect, it will not work. If you try to give a woman respect but not love, it will not work. And at the end of the day, if those 2 things are in place, where the woman is like, I love you, but more importantly, I respect you and your role within this relationship, and the male, I respect you for who you are, but man, I really, really love you. If that happens, it is glory, right? I think when that, right, it's the truth. And I told it, I didn't really tell him that I was learning and thinking and kind of studying. There's a book about it called Love and Respect.
Yeah.
And it's actually rooted in scripture. So if anybody's non-Christian, it still has a lot of value, but they do talk Bible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for him and I didn't tell him that I was learning about that, but I know that he noticed the change, and he kind of said something about it, and I was like, yeah, I was learning about this. You don't necessarily need the love where I'm like, oh, give me a hug, give me a kiss, I'll give you intimacy, whatever. But I didn't realize that I was overlooking just how important respecting him was. And when I changed that and respected his role as the father, respected his role as, the male in the relationship, and just the man of the house overall. And I don't care, somebody might be like, that's old fashioned. You know what, that might be, but man, I'm telling you, it works. It works really well.
Exactly. Thank you. Again, You guys have had your ups and downs, but I'm pretty sure neither one of you, particularly you, Trishanda, because women get hit up a lot more than men do, simply because the old traditional role men chase, you know, you're not here on your phone. Oh, okay, it's not working out with Jack. Let me try out Tom, Larry, Chris, Harvey, Harry, Robert, Pablo.
Who the hell has time for that? I ain't got no time for that.
Oh, I gotta get that sound effect for the future. For all of the viewers, I'm gonna get the "ain't nobody got time for that" sound effect. You know, I don't know if you remember the lady from the news.
But see, it's so much easy, and as much as people are like, oh man, I could just walk away. But that's not true. Like, it's so much easier to reinvest in something that is already there than it is to drop it cold-handedly and turn around and pursue something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
now, go ahead.
the energy, and we could put that in science terms, right? Like, the energy to keep something moving that's already moving is less than the energy to move something that is not moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the same is true in a relationship. And, you know, I think we both had those points where we were just like, I just don't know if we're going to bust through this, you know, this plateau, this barrier. And, you know, and at the end of the day, if you have those thoughts cross your mind and you're not communicating about the fact that you are feeling that, you know, yeah, you're right, you're screwed. Like, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Thank you. Because to add to that, real quick, again, when women walk away as they have aged, it's harder for them to find a companion, because us men, we are visual first, so we're constantly seeking the most vibrant, youthful, fertile looking women that could give us, you know, what we want long term. We want something that looks good long term, like our sneakers. We want to keep our sneakers looking as good as possible. We get rid of our sneakers once they start to dull out and all that. So we want a woman that we know we get them early on, like that we could enjoy them to their maximum potential. And then, how you said, respect is important to us men, because we're going to discard any disrespectful female, because we don't got to deal with this shit, you know? Now, what I tell women all the time is, and I'm sure you can advocate for it as well, gets the best male, good intentioned male early on as possible. Because if you're out here dating a bunch of guys, your biology, women are receivers. The more sexual partners that they have, it reduces their pair bonding compatibilities, because they become crack addicts pretty much. They're constantly looking for the next fix. Oh, what other man can I try? Oh my God. It is called microsimerism. Their body is going to constantly crave more, and that's another contributor to a lot of these women who were very promiscuous in their earlier years being on such a high percentage of antidepressants. For every one man in the United States that's on antidepressants, 4.5 women are on antidepressants. Y'all can look it up. Stay out of y'all silly little. And look up the facts and analytics, because numbers don't lie. And again, women constantly say that they believe that they're equal to men, that they could do anything, and that they say, hey, I am woman, hear me roar. But then, when given the opportunity to take charge, take leadership, and make the action happen, what happens, ladies? And then, in the end,
That does not make sense.
you get what you asked for. You ladies wanted to be seen as equals. You ladies wanted to not be deemed or judged for taking the first step towards breaking the ice with men and things like that. So why aren't y'all doing it more frequently? Why aren't y'all stepping up to the plate? Why biologically y'all get turned off by men who don't take the initial role, but rhetoric it's a tongue twister. Rhetorically. Oh, thank you. You corrected me right there.
English major.
Yeah, perfect. And I'm working on my third language, so I get confused between
That's
languages.
impressive. I could do maybe 40% power Spanish. That's about it. And it is not fluid. It is a lot of cerveza at the La Okay.
So women ask for the equality. Women ask for the the end to being judged, criticized, and shamed for taking action. But then biologically, they don't want to take the action, and they get turned off for the most part from men who don't take the action. But then guess what? We have today hashtag me too. Trishanda, you took full-blown initiative on making it happen with Jack. Today, women have asked for the shame to be removed, for the stigma to be removed, but then instead of approaching men, they still want men to approach them, but then run with the rhetoric of hashtag me too. And
That does not make sense.
you being a mom to 3 boys, correct?
I am, yeah.
Moving forward, we see the dangers of Me Too right now. There was a guy about a year or two ago who helped this woman, I think it was change her tire. And then she made a false allegation against him that, thank God, if it wasn't recorded by the cameras, because I think they were near a gas station and also a few other businesses, like where the flat tire assistance was occurring at, that recorded him being non-sexual towards her, maintaining space, and actually it was shown that she broke the contact barrier by going to hug him. You're a mom of boys now. Women created the Me Too culture, but then still want men to make the first move while having that Me Too in their back pocket. Do you have a fear for your sons growing up in the future with Me Too's false allegations and these women who are constantly being hypocritical in what they say and what they do?
Oh, I mean, yeah, without a doubt, legitimately, I do have a concern that, at some point in their lives that they could potentially be, falsely accused or, attacked simply because they are in the wrong place at the wrong time and are male, right?
Yep.
And I think the biggest responsibility that I feel, and thankfully I have, a husband, I have a supporting partner who instills in them how important it is to value women. And I think the biggest thing that I have to teach them, and that he, even more importantly, because I can't teach it as well as he's going to teach it, is to teach them to help women see their own value and see that they have a certain level of what's the word I'm looking for? That they value them as more than just their sexuality.
Yeah.
That and it's I'm so thankful because like tonight I was asking Jack, I was like, babe, I look hit. Like I've been working hard today. I'm tired. I should probably go put some makeup on and like do my hair or something. And he looked over at me and was like, you look fantastic. Don't worry about it. And like I want my boys to be that kind of man who is not afraid to tell a woman, you are so much more than your body, than your looks. Like, you have so much more to offer. And I think if women were to hear that more from men, if they were to hear that more from men and hear that more from media also, because let's face it, media drives into their head, like, look at the Kardashians or the stuff that you see on Instagram that is lauded is women wearing, like, no clothing, plastic surgery, tons of makeup. Like, there's no genuine women anymore. Like, I can't say that. There are genuine women out there, but like the ones that are put up on a pedestal are so disingenuine. And I think if women were to hear more, like, look, you have way more than that. And if they were to hear that more, I don't think that they would be as inclined to seek attention by claiming false sexual advances, right?
Exactly, yes.
All of those things. So I'm hoping that we can teach our boys, first to look at a girl. Don't first say, oh, your eyes are so pretty and your hair's so nice, or I like your outfit. Like, don't even go there. Like, be like engaging her in a conversation and find out what's going on in her brain first. Because at the end of the day, like you keep pointing out, biology is not in our favor and the looks do fade. But man, I tell you what, a sharp, awesome mind with a great sense of humor and somebody who just is able to navigate life logically, you know, and do those kind of things. Like, that stuff doesn't end, hopefully, you know, hopefully not getting Alzheimer's or dementia. That's like my biggest fear in life, is like not having my mind right in that way. But anyways, so, you know, those looks are gonna go, and I want my boys to understand, like, don't value a girl for that first. And I know you feel that way, because you can tell me, like, you know, we'll be getting ready to go out or something, and, you know, I'll just be like, I'm just not sure this. Stop, you look great, get over it, let's go.
Now, right here, I was gonna say it, but somebody said it for me here in the comment section. The thing is, Trishanda, they don't want to hear it from men. I've heard plenty of men telling women they look beautiful without makeup on, and women say, I don't do it for you, I do it for myself. That kind of bad attitude is what drives us men away. And even though looks shouldn't be everything, because again, as the looks begin to fade, the respect comes in heavily right there. Is this woman respectful of me? Is she cooperative of me? Is she you know, a team player? Because you have a lot of these women that, again, they don't want to hear it from men. This is a battle that cannot be fought by men. And we have a lot of women nowadays who back then were on that whole me, I could do whatever I want. And now they're saying,
What happened? Where did all the men go?
but they refuse to take accountability and acknowledge that they were the prudes, the promiscuous party girls back in the early 2000s, back in the 90s, back in the 80s, back in the 70s. And look at them now. Single, lonely, depressed, medicine cabinet, full with more medication than CVS and Walgreens put together. And it's just like, look what y'all did to yourselves. That's like me. If I started right now smoking 2 to 3 packs of cigarettes a day, within a year to 2 or 3 years, I wouldn't look like a teenager anymore. I'd look my age or even beyond my age. Self-accountability, you know, and women don't want to hear these things from men. Women, they most of them don't know what they want, and a lot of them who are similar to your personality type, Trishanda, who lead with logic first, they acknowledge this. But we do need a mass movement together. Right now, women who advocated for Me Too, guess what they're doing? Along with saying constantly,
What happened? Where did all the men go?
they're saying that men aren't men anymore. Men don't approach them anymore. And it's simple. You have the hashtag Me Too, which is going to take women in mass to come out and combat against. Shout out Brett Kavanaugh, by the way. That was probably the only moment in history up until now where we saw women rally en masse to call out the bias of a fellow female and protect the male. We often see too many women, including the good ones, cover the tracks of the bad ones. But then when these women are left single and lonely, look what you're doing now. You're trying to help recovering female addicts because you want them, for whatever time they have left on this planet, in this existence, you want them to live as happy as possible. You're taking a step. This world, this universe needs more Trishandas. You know, a lot of other women, but we'll keep them anonymous because I don't have their permission to say their name on this particular episode. So we'll just use you, Trishanda. But by default, this world needs more of you. Women like you, women who think.
And I'm happy to say that there are a ton of women very much like me in the Libertarian Party movement.
Yeah, they are in the Libertarian Party.
That's why I stay put. So even when the men get ignorant and get in with their pissing contest, trying to say who's more of a pure libertarian, or, you know, when the foolishness happens in the party and all the infighting, and I'll be honest with you, it's the other like-minded women like me that I see, you know, building traction within the party and even beyond, you know, who are doing really great things. And I love it because we can come alongside the men and be good, complementing partners with them in the movement without getting all wrapped up in Republican and Democratic, you know, ideals. Like I said, all those boxes that they like to check.
Hold on, I'm just responding to some comments here. A battle which must be fought by women. If ever a battle that women must take the charge in, it's this one right here. You know, I have a nephew now that tells me You know, he's 16. I won't say his name and all that, but you got TikTok out now, and they're calling it Tik Thoughts. You got a lot of these girls underage. You know, they're shaking it out there. They're making arrangements with older men or men who have the financial capabilities to pay them. And
I'm standing over here saying, "Praise the Lord, I didn't have daughters."
So check this out. I just want to play this little voice clip right here that it's gonna be an eye opener for you, Trish. Jack, probably you as well, but in particularly you, Trish. Let me get it. Give me 1 second. I'm getting close to it. Getting close to it. Come on. Here it is. Get ready. This is a young girl. I believe she's not older than 21 based on what I'm able to see right here. Listen very closely to what she says.
Oh, this TikTok's for my mom. Mom, remember that Chanel bag I really wanted that you wouldn't buy for me? I let an old man f me for it. You bitch. So, this TikTok's...
She said, Mom, remember that Gucci bag you wouldn't buy for me? I think it was Gucci or Chanel. I'm looking at
Chanel. Yeah, Chanel. I heard her.
Remember that bag you wouldn't buy for me? Well, guess what? I let a man roar up in me for it. It's horrible. And, you know, my nephew tells me these things all the time, that he's seeing these girls younger and younger, even participating in acts of sexuality with many other men. And again, unfortunately, biology does not lie. Men are the hammers and women are the nails. You know, the hammer could keep smashing, but the nail, as it continues to get smashed, is going to start to, you know, fall apart. Facts are facts. This is a podcast where
what
we...
kind of condition is my nail in here? Like, sorry.
No, exercise that First Amendment. We do not believe in fairy tales here. We completely stay out of our... and stick to the facts.
Hey, my nail must be all right, because I don't catch him looking at too many other females.
Yeah, no, Trish, I gotta tell you, you've done a remarkable job, because I've seen the pictures of Jack. Jack is in great shape. I don't see him, because there's men that I'm gonna take accountability for men as well. And as you can see with me, my physique, I make sure to. I'm 32 now. You would think I'm a teenager. I'm not gonna lift my shirt. I have videos of me without a shirt and all that. I got a 4-pack, working on the 6-pack now. But Jack, you look amazing for your age. God bless you.
Thank you.
You have done your part of maintaining the relationship by keeping yourself in an attractive physique, because a lot of women lie saying.
Hey, and I remind him of that every single day. That
Thank
I still
you.
find him extremely attractive.
Thank you so much, because what we're seeing as well, like I said, I'm gonna take accountability. You got these guys, they'll settle down, get married, and then let themselves go. Hello. You gotta keep your girl interested in you as well. I can't make one amazing lasagna and then make 9 shitty lasagnas and expect to receive the great feedback and enthusiasm over my lasagna. You know, and vice versa. Women, you have to maintain yourselves as attractive as possible as well. Stop dating these bad boys, because your biology is not like a male's biology. And we don't want you to be the women 35, 40, 45, 50 saying...
What happened? Where did all the men go?
All because...
I don't want no bent nails, right? And plus, I mean, you get one body. You have to take care of your body. I especially, didn't learn that until about 5 years ago, but it's really not too late.
Well, and I took a look at him one day, and it wasn't that I wasn't still attracted to him, because I see so much more, you know, beyond his physique for sure. But I told him my bigger concern was if he continued down that road, like, I love him so much, like, I want to spend as many years as I can with him.
Finding him attractive,
yeah. If he don't start taking care of himself, then I'm worried he's gonna die before me, and I really don't want that to happen.
Are you two familiar with the current female artist, God bless her soul, This is not to denigrate her or anything. Lizzo.
I've heard of her. I have a really good friend that likes her music a lot. I mean, I think I've listened to like maybe half a song, and she just lost me on it. Like, I don't know. I don't really like the message that she's carrying out there. I don't like the way she carries it. I know she's trying to empower, like, and do all of that, and I understand her reasoning. I just don't agree with her methods, I guess. That's just, I'll say that.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that as well. But you brought up a particular word that, again, was fire. Health. Lizzo, along with a lot of these magazines, are now advocating for women to not be in shape. This body positive movement. And yeah, we shouldn't body shame, but at the same time, we do have to be realistic with ourselves. If you're out of shape, that's going to lead to, health risks or even life-threatening health concerns. Did you know? In a healthy alkaline body, it is hard for cancer tumors to grow. Did you know?
Familiar with that, yep.
A healthy alkaline body promotes the circulation of blood and preserves youthful appearance. This body positive movement does not have like any type of accountability, any type of rationalization to it. It's basically saying, ladies and gentlemen, you could be out here looking like a hippo and it's perfectly fine. But particularly favoring the women, and a guy who's in shape, six pack and all that, has to accept you for how you are. And I'm sorry, but that is far from the truth. Besides the shallowness, the health concerns as well. And I'm glad you brought it up, Trish, because again, this is a battle. If ever one battle that cannot be fought by men, this is it. We're in a Me Too culture, body positive, zero accountability point in time. But then what happens? Women don't find men attractive if they embrace body positivity. Women don't find men attractive if they wait for women to make the first move. And then women are out here exercising the Me Too if a man does decide to take the first move. And guess what?
That does not make sense.
And all it's going to lead to, again, is women saying,
What happened? Where did all the men go?
and we don't want that. So this is a battle that has to be fought by women. And again, you being a mother of not one, not two, but 3 boys, I know it'll be a cold day in hell if you were to ever budge, God forbid, to some female out here saying that one of your boys tried to pull, some type of Harvey Weinstein on them, And even then, ironically enough, if you look at the pictures, the videos, these women were all over Harvey Weinstein at some point. Now, all of a sudden, #MeToo, the hypocrisy is real. The bullshit is out in the open, and it needs to stop. And this is not a battle that could be fought by men. And I hate hearing women, and I'm sorry, libertarian women, but there's been a handful of y'all as well. Oh, we just want men to fix things.
That does not make sense.
What the fuck? What do y'all want? Please, God, can you please provide us with some help here? Because right now, statistically, people are not reproducing at the rates to maintain a healthy, stable society, a thriving economy. The largest percentage of women on antidepressants. A lot of misery. And all because, I'm sorry, this is going to make a lot of women get in there. But it's mostly women's faults. And the numbers don't lie. We have the highest 60 to 70% of women in the United States, and possibly globally as well, due to the disproportionate, which thank God I'm happy for, but it hurts women. More women in contrast to men. Women are up here, men are here. The numbers don't lie. The highest number of single women in, human history. And it's just like, what are ladies gonna do? Because I see it all the time. I work in a plaza across from Walmart, and I'm sorry, again, it's gonna make women get in there. But I have a lot of older women that whenever they see me and they got a bunch of bags, oh, young man, can you help me please bring these to my car? I'm sore, or I had a surgery, or I'm hurt. If they had a man with them, they wouldn't need my assistance, and it's not to be disrespectful to them, but facts are facts. Lady, where's your husband? All right, he could be at work. We'll give that. But most of the time, the numbers don't lie. We have this many statistics proving that is that many number of women single, lonely, and all that. Your man ain't with you, and you're facing all these obstacles. How did you bring yourself to that point in time? Did you think long term? Did you treat men with respect when you were younger? Did you make sure to keep your body count low? Because I'll be honest, I would prefer a virgin, that I be her first body and all that. Even though mathematically that would be damn near impossible to find, because again, my nephew is 15, 16, and he's telling me these girls is out here 14, 15. And I remember when I was in junior high school and all that, we was already getting active. You feel me? But again, women are the gatekeepers of sex and all that. Men are the gatekeepers of long-term relationships. In order for these things to work, women have to vet out the men. Who's the bad boy who's only going to use me for sex? And who's a good man that I can build with,
Well, if you would have asked my dad when we first started dating, Jack was not number 2.
I spent 2 years on the couch across from her dad with her watching movies.
Because I kept getting grounded. Well, I wasn't allowed to date till I was 16, but then when I could date, then of course if I was like 1 minute late, my dad's like, well, you won't be going to date for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. So, okay, it's safe because I didn't want to access. This is why I always put out disclaimers and all that before we get started. So, Jack, you're her first. Trish, she's...
No. Nope. I definitely made a mistake before him.
Okay,
so,
but would you say less than 5 guys?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, like I said, I met him when I was 15. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Certainly.
Okay, because this is what happens. The more sexual partners women have, again, crack addicts, microsimerism kicks in, and also women retain the DNA of men that they're sexually involved with via intercourse. Somehow, some way you could research this. Again, I know it's going to piss a lot of women off and they're going to get in there. And I tell people all the time, if you're emotional, stay the fuck away from me. Because I didn't believe in Santa Claus growing up. I didn't believe in the stork. I don't believe in a hope strategy or all this fairy tale Disney bullshit. I'm very fact driven. Facts are facts. More sexual partners women have develops a bigger personality and urge of promiscuousness, and it leads to long-term sadness, because what man wants to buy a car with heavy miles on it? What man wants to be with a woman with a lot of mileage? And we're seeing this happen now. A lot of these porn stars are coming out saying they're in regret. The creator of Sex in the City put out an article that you could look it up. I forgot her name, but she even said it, that she even regretted spending so much time being career driven and promoting this message of promiscuousness, because now she sees herself more than likely being a lonely cat woman in the future. And it's not to bash anybody who owns cats and all that, but biologically speaking, women do crave, whether they want to admit it or not, they do crave long term having a family, coming home to a warm household with their children, mommy, 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 and all that, and knowing that they're gonna have someone by their side till the day that they die. Again, based on the level of respect, cooperation, and compatibility and honesty that is being put out there. Because like I said, she doesn't need to be a virgin, but I'm looking at 4 bodies tops, simply because I already know the personality. Oh yeah, personality disorders as well. The more sexual partners women have leads to personality disorders. Why? Women absorb. Women are receivers. Women maintain and retain the DNA of anybody they get intimate with. You could look it up. So what happens? That DNA is going to fuck with their head. If they're having sex with bad boy, good guy, shy guy, extroverted guy, all of these DNAs are mixed into the pot, which is the female, and she's going to go cuckoo, cuckoo, you know? So that's what happens long term, you know? So I had to get into heavy details. I don't like leaving any stone unturned, any I not dotted, any T uncrossed. Anybody who has questions beyond this, feel free to hit me up at The Fix for New York on Instagram. And if I don't respond immediately, I'll respond within some time. Let me know specifically why you're hitting me up, because some people hit me up with weird shit. And all these girls trying to sell me their OnlyFans. Holy shit. Trishanda, I've given you the full-blown blueprint of the long-term horrible outcome for promiscuous women and or shy women who do not say and do not take action, which all these things, being shy or being promiscuous, will lead long-term again to women.
What happened? Where did all the men go?
You talked about how you and your husband are looking to raise your sons, but what advice would you be willing to give these women now in order to fix their lives and prevent a long-term lonely life?
Yikes, that's hard. I don't know. Ugh, that's a hard question.
I'll make it easier for you. Would you agree that women should step up more often and make the first move on men?
Oh, I definitely think that's a good idea if they feel like they found somebody, that they're compatible with, or that they could, that they want to explore a future with. I think there's two pieces of advice that I could confidently provide. And I already said one earlier, and that is quit competing. Period. Quit competing. The only person that you have anything to prove to is yourself. You don't have to prove anything to these men that you might be interested in. You don't have anything to prove to other females. You have only to prove to you. Okay? I think that's so important. Like, the day that I decided I didn't need to measure up to anybody else was like the greatest and most freeing day of my life. But it took time to get there. So the other thing that I will say is, when opportunities present themselves, you must seize them. Period. Like, there can't be any hesitation. If the thought crosses your mind that this is an avenue you want to pursue and that this could lead to something more, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to the world, because you might have something to provide. You owe it to everything to go for it. And that was me in that environment. That's me every day of my life. Like, I mean, legitimately, every day I see opportunity, and I'm like, man, it sometimes drives me crazy, because I'm a dreamer, like, and I won't hesitate to lay out 17 different possibilities based on the choice that I'm considering, and then guess what? It's not like I just sit there and look at the possibilities. I make a choice.
Thank you. Exactly. So you're the type of woman, again, who advocates for more women making the first move and making it happen simply by taking the action of,
Surprise, motherfucker.
I like you. I want to be with you. And do you like me back? Can we make this happen?
Exactly. Yes.
And thank you so much, Trishanda, because again, I see so many women. I like him, but I'm gonna wait for him to make the first move. I
almost asked him to marry me, like, and I considered it, and I was like, man, I don't want to take that away from him. And I remember, like, it was probably about, I don't know, maybe 6 months before he actually did finally ask me, and I flat out admitted to him, because we were dating 7 years before he asked me to marry him, and we didn't get married until we've been together for 9 years. And, like, right before he asked me, I flat out told him, I was like, look, okay? Because I'm decisive, and now you gotta be decisive. And you either need to step up or step out. And I said, or I'm gonna ask your ass, and you're gonna be so embarrassed when you go to your friends, you're like, hey, my girlfriend asked me to marry her.
Now, in his defense, I got your back here, Jack. And it rhymed too. That's how you know it's real. Us men, we do find it attractive when women make the first move. We will not call you whores, sluts, or any type of shame language, you know, any derogatory term. We find it attractive. Find it attractive when y'all do make the first move. And it wouldn't shame us either if women took that first step. What I will say, ladies, make sure you've been together for some time, because y'all don't know how to handle rejection as well as men do. So make sure that you've been together for some time, that the sex is great, because sex is very crucial in a relationship, before you do pop the question. But don't be scared to pop the question. All right? Don't be scared to make the first move. Y'all watching this right now, you're writing to me on my phone saying, holy shit, you can't believe it. I'm not going to say y'all names, but y'all seeing this woman right here, a woman pushing 40, who looks easy 25, 26, 27, no makeup on, is still glowing, has the man right there next to her. You right? You can't wait until tomorrow. And I've seen it happen, and it's sad so many times. Girls who moved away. Oh, Cash, I had a crush on you, and I guess I'll tell you now. How the fuck you wait till you move away to tell me that you like me? Oh, I got pregnant off the wrong guy, and I just want to tell you I always had a crush on you. You could have told me sooner, and now you're not going to be a single mom, you know? Oh, Cash, I always waited for you to make the first move. I didn't know how to tell you or give you any hints. Well, bitch, I'm not a mind reader, so... The fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all witnessing it here firsthand, and you're one of many, and, you know, we're within that time frame of... Look at Topanga Lawrence in Boy Meets World. She kissed Corey first. She probably inspired Trishanda. And
I did love that show.
And she proposed to Corey. So all you ladies out here, get the fuck out, ya. And please, ladies, please. And don't be scared to roll up on a man and let him know.
Surprise, motherfucker.
That you do want to be with him. Because if you're out here looking away, being mean, not giving a guy that you like any type of valid, clear green light signs, so like that we don't get hit with a hashtag me too, signs that you like him, guess what? And you're gonna be one of these women in the future who comes around all sad saying,
what happened? Where did all the men go?
So take it from the strong, independent, successful woman who is looking amazing right now. And I heavily pray. I always include you in my prayers, believe it or not, because when all those girls were bashing me on that forum years ago, and it was raining that night, I'll never forget. You were the only one, Trish. You were the only one who came in my defense and said, hey, maybe us women do need to take more accountability. And guess what? I was the woman who didn't go around living this type of mentality. I took action, I stepped up, and I made it happen with the man that I wanted to be with. And guess what? Today, I am a happy, successful, married woman with healthy boys, still with plenty of years ahead of me that I could enjoy with my family, my children, my husband, doing nothing but enjoying success each and every day until the day that we're no longer here. And Trish and Jack, you know, like, I want to wish y'all nothing but the best. I'm a heavy advocate for y'all story. I hope that the ladies viewing tonight can, again, please get the F out of there and stop being a bunch of little chickens and make the first fucking move, bitch. Step up. Show you are a woman. Hear you roar. Blah, blah, blah. And all that other rhetoric that y'all love spewing on the daily. You know? Because we don't want y'all to be lonely in the end. We don't want y'all getting pregnant off the wrong guy because you was out here thrill seeking and then end up being a single mom. End up regretting sliding in my DMs years later. I should have just told you sooner. I'm living a horrible life now. I don't want to be with you anymore. And there's going to be guys just like me who don't want to, be a stepdad, especially to a child or children of an asshole. Hell no, especially if the guy's still in the picture and they're carrying his genetics. So I'm going to be dealing with his personality via the children, and whatever you absorb from him within your, entity as well, your fucking anatomy as well. Because again, women receive and retain. You get me? So I want the ladies to realize that. And Trish, I want you to know that this is a battle that men cannot fight. We need a well-formed coalition or caucus, whatever the fuck, some type of body of women in mass pulling a support of Brett Kavanaugh, combating the Me Too movement, telling women step up and tell that fucking guy that you like him. What's the worst thing he could say? No. Guess what, bitch? Welcome to a man's world. And this whole Me Too shit, because all that's gonna happen is a lifelong miserable outcome that us men, and Jack, you could agree, we don't want that, because we have mothers, we have sisters, we have aunts, we have female cousins, we have female friends, and we don't want to see y'all suffer. But it can't be on us. Y'all can't expect us to make the first move and Me Too us. Y'all can't expect us to grant y'all leadership and then not want to take it and then lose sexual interest in us because we opened the door for y'all. Y'all can't expect us to let y'all do whatever y'all want to do and then pick y'all up later on when y'all 5, 10, 15, 20 bodies deep.
That does not make sense.
And guess what? It's not going to work out in the end, because you're going to naturally crave different sexual partners, more different sexual experiences, experiments, and all that. Y'all seeing a lot of, and I support the porn industry. If I had an opportunity, no disrespect, just putting it out there, if I had an opportunity, I am well equipped to be a porn star myself. But with women, long term is gonna damage y'all. So y'all gotta look in the mirror and be honest with yourselves and face the accountability and the future consequences of the actions that you choose to take today. A lot of these porn stars now are in heavy regret of the choices that they made, and now they're saying to themselves, through everybody,
What happened? Where did all the men go?
so make sure that you're acting upon a choice that you're gonna be happy with long term. If you're gonna be a porn star, just know it is a higher possibility, not impossible, but a higher possibility that you're gonna be one lonely biatch in the future, or woman. Not to be derogatory, but hey, I'm from urban United States, New York City. This is how we talk. Women call bitches all the time, and when rappers call women bitches on soundtracks, they love it and they constantly repeat it, bitch, yay. Yeah, I heard it from a strong, independent woman who is living proof in the flesh of success with the man that she wanted right next to her, and look how happy she is. Look how young she looks. Look how healthy her children are. Look at that smile on her husband's face. He's not out here looking for other women and all that, because look, he got a woman who is good looking, has maintained her youth, has kept herself in shape, and respects him.
I wouldn't go that far now.
Let me tell you, Trish, I could show you some 25-year-olds that you'll deadass say to yourself the way they're going about their health.
That does not make sense.
Fair enough.
And we got to be realistic here. So, thank you guys so much. Again, your story is truly amazing.
Thanks for having us. I mean, to be honest with you, like I didn't really know what to expect being here tonight, but I am always happy to help people see that there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of possibility, there's a lot of opportunity in life, and just step up to the plate and take a swing and see what happens with it, right?
Thank you so much.
Thanks for asking me.
Mm-hmm. And again, just to put the stamp on it, how you said, should women make the first move if they feel attraction towards a guy and would like to try dating that guy?
Absolutely. Don't hesitate.
Thank you. So, ladies, y'all heard her here from a female herself. Libertarian Party is the best option for women right now. Could it change in the future? Yes, but right now, we got to live here in the now and look at the analytics. And analytically, our policies are the best and most empowering towards women with the least shame, with the least judgments, and with the least betrayal. Along with that, y'all heard it from a woman. Second Amendment for women. Women, y'all want to hear yourselves roar? Well, guess what? The bang from a firearm is the biggest roar that you could ever put out there. And lastly, if you find a guy attractive, make the first fucking move. All right? So, you guys, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much.
I am one half of the Fix for New York, your boy Cash First. Once again, feel free to reach out to me. Instagram at the Fix for New York. If you want to become a Patreon, help this channel grow, because yeah, ask me for more episodes, but I'm working overtime because my source of income right now is my job. So Patreon, $3 a month, or you could do a Cash App if you want to donate more than $3. Trish, where can people hit you up at?
I am everywhere. Mostly just on Facebook right now. So I also have a blog called heartontherock.com. It's a little dormant at the moment because I've been working on our business. So yeah, I mean, just hit me up on Facebook. It's probably the best place to find me.
And that would be Trishanda
Louise.
All right, thank you.
I don't know how I got the first name with that middle name. I do not understand it.
Yeah, and again, I wish you guys nothing but the best. It's a truly amazing story. I hope.
Right back at you. I hope that I hope people can see a little bit deeper into your message, that you have well-meaning and you're not trying to insult women, that you're more so just trying to help them grow and understand why the situation is as it is.
Exactly. We want to avoid the women long-term saying,
What happened? Where did all the men go?
so ladies, stay out of ya and learn to listen to the logic that I'm dropping to ya, and a woman just dropped to ya as well. Let's get this caucus body coalition entity party going. Women supporting women and advocating for women to make the first move, take leadership positions, still find men attractive and be respectful towards men, and not be hypocrites and Me Too men over bullshit. This has been the Fix for New York. Once again, here are the links to support, to contact me at. Any further questions? I go heavy into detail to leave no stone unturned. But if you still have questions, feel free to hit me up. Trishanda, Jack, thank you so much. Shout out Larry Sharp. Shout out Anthony Calandro. Shout you guys out. Shout out all the wonderful libertarian women and the future libertarian women, the women who don't know that they're libertarian yet, and all the good women worldwide. For the bad women, hopefully y'all can change your ways. My co-host Z-Dot was not here with us tonight, but he was here with us in spirit. God bless my brother. This has been the Fix for New York. Until next time, we out of here. Peace.
Have a good night.